Hello everyone, I'm on push to talk mode in main neb so no one can hear this, just welcoming you all into stream. Dramus is
Okay,
about to do the
so
coin
if this
flip.
lands heads, then Collapse Electron will start as ANS. Tails, they start as OSP. It's heads, so CTE is going to start as ANS. Could I ask CTE to go down to Sparkles and Maintenance to go down to Trogdor when they're ready then?
Alright. Coin flip happens, teams are being split right now. So this is the first match of round 2
Hi,
of
are we
this
jumping
tournament
into,
here.
we jump in?
Yeah, you'll be OSP and go to Trogdor when, or the players will go down to Trogdor from your team.
Okay.
Alright. So yeah, like I was saying, this is the first game of round 2 of this tournament. We are here on Blood Moon Remastered. For round 2, the initial map we start on, it swaps from Gold Rush to
Escape
Blood
start my
Moon
preview, just logging in
Remastered.
now.
So we're gonna have some really interesting ones. Neko, as you can hear there, was just starting things up. As Dramus said, the coin flip goes through as Kleps the Electron takes Team 1, which is ANS. Team 2, OSP, is going to be Maintenance as a Birch. As we start things off today, we are just waiting on the players and everyone to get in, the teams to be chosen, and the
All right,
streams
I'm going to
start
apologize in
back up.
advance for the Discord side of things. I'm recovering from a cold today, so if you want a lively cast, you're probably better off going to Escape or Neko's Twitch streams. I'm sure they can link that in the general text chat.
We've got the streams channel for that. We're going to post in a second.
Cool.
I already have my stream link in the Neb Streams channel. If you want to go click it there, I can repost it too if you give me a second.
Oh no, as long as it's somewhere, that's
Yeah. I'm sure they'll find us.
yeah.
It's not like there's anyone else streaming Neb right now.
Yeah, we have so much competition.
Are we allowed to spec? Says Turbo. Yes, kinda. There's some. I mean, the lobby is password protected, and we did that specifically to prevent it from becoming overloaded. Too many spectators in lobbies like this can lead to some stability issues. So I need to run it by Dramus, but I have a feeling we're probably just going to limit spectators to people who are part of the team, the teams that are playing, as well as commentators. Okay, that was bizarre. Half my Twitch thing just disappeared. Hello? Okay. So I have, like, pop-out boxes on Creator Dashboard on Twitch side, and half of them just vanished. Cool, thank you, Twitch. Very cool. See if refreshing the page fixes that. Refreshing the page does fix that. Hello, Crabber, welcome in. Thank you, Twitch, very cool. Welcome in, Three Wing. As I was saying before, we are just waiting here for the teams to figure out what they're bringing. Collapse the Electron is ANS, and Maintenance as a Birch goes to Team 2 OSP.
Alrighty, Twitch side. I got 3 minutes of ads and then should be good to go. Do we have all the players from respective teams in yet?
Looks like we're still missing one from... Oh, there they are. Speak and they shall appear, apparently.
You know what? We take those.
For those in chat, no, I will not be leaking the server password. I will not be doing that. If I leak the server password, Joramus is gonna execute me. I'm gonna be found dead outside Caltrop, like next to Tasty's body. Escape GT found dead outside of Caltrop after leaking the server password for one of the NEBVEMBER games. Oh, if my body was dumped on Canyon, I would actually never be found. Not only does no one ever play that map, but also the map is fucking massive and you would never find me. Incredible. Alright, it looks like Collapse the Electron is...
Are we starting on Blood Moon today?
Yes, I believe that all of the round 2 games start on Blood Moon, and then round 3 it's Yukon start, correct?
That is correct, yep.
Alright, excellent.
Neko, you all good if we move to different VC? We all good here?
I'm ready when y'all are, so...
Alright, Team 1's already readied up, so I'm gonna go ahead and move down. We'll see y'all here for post-match.
Which server do we want, channel-wise?
I was just gonna hop into yours.
Okay, yeah. Ping us if you need us. We'll be there. Okay, they changed Discord's UI for settings page. That's cool. Then let's just get readied up, and yeah, I'm just gonna go live and do introductions and stuff, and we'll get that. People asking, where's gambling? You want to do any of that? Probably still on push to talk, but yeah, either way. Right then, hello everyone. Welcome back to the NEBVEMBER tournament. We're into the second set of matches here in the round 2. People have been awarded at least one win or loss in the tournament so far. Squaring off today, we're going to have Collapse the Electron versus Maintenance is a Birch. I am your host, Neko Boy Blue, in the caster's booth, joined by my co-caster, Escape GT, who's just sorting out their microphone. All right, let's see. Both teams looking like they're just about ready to square off here. The game is going to start on Blood Moon for the round 2 here. You can see the countdown already starting. Escape, you still with me, buddy, or you audible at all? I assume it's just the push to talk force thing is still left on. Set chat voice check. Where's the setting? Setting gear, it'll pull up the voice thing, and then you scroll down, you'll find input mode, go to voice activity, set push to taco.
Oh my god, there it is.
Nice.
Oh my fucking god. Of course, Discord decides to push out a setting update. Oh my god, that was awful. Okay, we're back.
Yep, the day of,
fucking
right?
Christ. Okay, gambling time. We're gonna miss the gambling.
All right. Checking of a little gambling is a treat.
You get 2 seconds to gamble. You get 2 seconds to gamble. Quickly. Go, 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 go. Collapse the Electron.
Go. Place your bets.
Collapse the Electron is ANS. Maintenance is a Birch is OSP. Make your bets fast. Right. Oh my god.
All right, let's do this. Okay, logging in, and I guess we mark it. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the NEBVEMBER tournament. We're on to the round 2 matches now. Every team playing has been awarded a win or a loss. Squaring off today, we have Collapse the Electron coming in the blue trunks representing the ANS, and in the orange trunks for the OSP, we have Maintenance is a Birch. I am your one caster, Neko Boy Blue, and I am joined by Escape GT.
Hello, I absolutely hate Discord's audio settings.
Yep, so for anyone who's just tuning in now, just before the stream started up, Discord put out a new update changing around where the settings page is for push to talk and voice activity, and because we have to swap between servers sometimes, it'll force us to go push to talk, and then turning that back is a whole nightmare to dive through the settings list.
That was
Gotta
fun.
love technology.
Anyway, we are here on Blood Moon for round 2. All of the first matches are going to start on Blood Moon instead of Gold Rush, mixing things up a bit. Team 1 is ANS, as always. We have Collapse the Electron here, Trojan Shadow, Surazal, Pazuzu, and Ambient Lamp.
Team 2 maintenance is a Birch in the OSP, Vren 55, Secret Mink, Star 1954, Go Live Star, and a Miscellaneous. All right, shall we take some speculatory actions looking at these various fleet comps? I'm seeing Monitor Ball and OSP
Yeah, it would
side.
appear that maintenance is a Birch has learned from the last time they were on Blood Moon Remastered here, has actually brought an anti-sprinter ball device. Meanwhile, in ANS, I'm seeing no sprinter ball at all. So it looks like we've got...
Collapse the Electron coming in heavy Axfords. I'm seeing 6 of them on the board so far, all individual formations there.
2 clusters of 3. That is 3 people's fleets plus a cap fleet. Is that what
It would appear to be just trying to win through heavy tonnage.
I'm seeing Seas Boxer, Spare Atlas. Do we have the carrier half cap, or is this... No, this is actually a fully dedicated cap fleet. No carrier, no CLs. Only a single
Beam destroyers, corvettes galore. Yeah, looks like I want to say 7 corvettes, 1 beamstone, maybe 8 corvettes actually. Very high body count for the corvettes. There's a lot of heavy tonnage in ANS side.
On
OSP side,
it looks more varied in terms of hulls. We have the monitor ball, which appears to be one of the only front.
Notice a lot of monitor count, so
lots of monitors.
This is going to be a heavy tonnage match.
Wasn't seeing many liners on
no
OSP. We'll take a look at that when we get to them. I'm going to go through ANS just to start, see what Electron
Drop has us watching a Greedford on deploy here, so Escape, walk me through what the ANS team has brought.
Half Greedford on deploy. Let's take a look. Okay. Ambient Lamp starts off with double Greedford here, it looks like. Just gonna quickly get a nice cinematic shot with the moon in the background for the thumbnail. Anyway,
reading my mind.
We've got double Greedford here with one with a VLS 200 backpack, one with a comms jammer. Pretty standard for Greedfords here. I'm assuming a lot of SDM 200s in there and some Killjoys probably. Yep, I think that's what those party poopers are. Pazuzu is also bringing a double Axford fleet. These are half Greedfords, so we replace a couple of the guns with a couple defenders on one. Same with the other VLS 200 backpack and a comms jammer on those as well. Gives you a nice mix of SDM 200s, Killjoys, and comms jamming capabilities. Rounding things off for the Axfords, we have Surazal here with another double Axford fleet. Both Greedfords as well. These are full Greedfords, just like Ambient Lamp is bringing. Unlike the other 2 players, Surazal is the one who split their force between the 2 little formations here. One of them comms jamming and one of them SDM2 or VLS 200 on the back, as we've all come to expect with double Axford fleets in the modern meta. Rounding things off for Collapse the Electron, we have Trojan Shadow with the cap fleet, 1 beamstone and 8 gun cappers, I believe. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, no, 4 gun cappers, looks like 2 cringe cappers, and then, ooh,
interesting. Ooh, look at that missile tech. That's a backline hunter if I ever saw one.
That's an anti-Moorline device. Yeah, that's they're trying to hunt a Moorline is what they're doing with that. Ooh.
Bullseye blanket on this thing, missile programming channels, a pinard to try and find emissions. Sneaky little tech there underneath the map. That'll be the support aspect for ANS side.
All right.
All right. OSP is currently hunting around, briefly looking at Miscellaneous over here. They did already spot this triple Axford up top using their early warning radar. Goes to show the value of scouting on these large open maps. Bloodhound from Vren has got that locked on. Miscellaneous' fleet consists of a C-56, T-30, and Torpedo. Okay, this is a bit of an interesting monitor here. That's a Arsenal device going towards B side. They've got similar guarding the E point here. A lot of firepower on this for not a lot of defense, just relying on that meaty hull. Early warning tug, we already had covered there. It does have a nose gun, which is smart. There's a multi-mission tug on the left side of the board towards B point, providing that awareness. Another one of these going towards the top of the map, C side. They're going to run into triple Axford and do not want to be there. Might be able to snipe out the Corvettes. See, cheaper, not multi-mission complete, just a little gun tug here, providing a little bit of extra fire towards the middle of the map. We're going to see a T-20 capper go towards E point, one of them head towards B, and immediately just get RPF down by these Greedfords. Look at that fire coming out of these things.
Yep, Greedfords are very powerful right now due to the amount of fire rate they can put out against both large and small ships. We've seen ANS kind of swap to these Greedford-type ships for their front line as of recently in the balance due to the prevalence of OSP light assets. Gives them a nice mix of being able to do both.
Rounding out the fleet, that was Misk losing 2 of their cappers now. Actually make that 3 of them. These are the Duncan Idahos. Okay, there's a bit of a callback. Used to be a fleet of a million of those.
Flashbacks.
A point, gonna be 2 dead cappers on there. ANS currently has a capper still alive barely. Monitor's not able to kill that off. Does get them capped. Beam Destroyer picked off some stuff there. Seeker Mink comes into support with a singular carrier here, has some T-20 deck guns, as well as having the extra launch pad there. This thing, yep, just a whole bunch of fighters, has a couple of wake skiffs there. I am just going to say it right now. This is, yep, R2 spam, has a couple of SDM2s for the checkbox purposes, but we've seen R2 Piranha Strike do very well in this tournament. They've got a pair of C90 T30 monitors currently overwatching the A point here, just their way of trying to see off a sprinter ball or otherwise threaten that zone. Rounding out their comp is going to be 2 rocket shuttles just tucked away for now. One of them below the C point might actually get the jump here as we see it diving upwards through the donut hole here towards Seaside. Might try and go for one of these experts. In a broader zoom out, Star is coming in with the monitor ball, fix bayonets to the bitter end. This is, what is the monitor ball starter fleet called? I believe these are the names of it. Let's say it's Garnet Squadron?
I think Garnet is, yeah. I might be mistaken on that,
Garnet
though. Squadron
is going to make its debut here. Monitors, they can work against Axfords, but it's a rough sell because the Axford is it's quite easy with a Raider drive setup to dodge those large C90 shots here that you see in the nose guns for these, so have to maintain their range and try and get in close or keep concealment. Rocket Strike coming out towards Seaside. Going to find the Capper Corvette. Not
I
the
don't think that
greatest
was
damage.
its intended target. I think it probably assumes it's disabled already. The Greedfords immediately swap their secondaries over. Rockets do go into the belly of one of these Axfords here. Nah, they kind of miss, hitting more of the side there.
Not
as the
the
massive
best strike
secondary
there, all things
battery
considered.
from those Axfords just eviscerates that Ruddle before it has the ability to do much else.
Yeah. Those secondary guns going to pay dividends here. Any light ship on OSP side is going to be eviscerated when they get within 7 kilometers of these Axfords. Star is now getting an engagement range. They do have plasma, which is going to matter. This close range, you can pretty much not miss, provided you get your shots onto target. We see the first plasma shot goes wide, as is tradition, due to slight turret inaccuracy. Gunners get a little trigger happy, but they're in the danger close range.
The double Raider whip build on these Axfords allows Surzal to just pull that Axford back absurdly fast, back into cover away from the monitor ball. Very nice.
They've gotten their C-cap and are just giving ground now, trying to maintain distance for safety. Scoring off against them in the far out orbit is Vren coming in with Kyanite Squadron here. Vren loves this fleet. Bloodhound Tug is going to keep these things spotted, and then these double liners are going to be putting down as much fire as they can. That said, this engagement here, Triple Axford is favored against these liners. Liners want to pop in and out of cover, and these Axfords just want to hold down the trigger like they're doing against the open space assets.
Right. All right, so a lot's happened since we started going over the fleets. Taking a look at the initial state of the board right now, ANS secures a very advantageous 4-cap. Triple Axford on C, Triple Axford on B, currently disabling Misk's Torpedo Goalie on Boxer. C, being pressured by the monitors and Vren right now. Those 3 Axfords is really tough to remove. A also goes to OSP with the Beamstone support, allows them to take the point against 2 cappers from OSP, although now Secret Mink is moving the monitors very aggressively onto A, attempting to retake some points and regain cap advantage here. Collapse the Electron.
Mink is trying to set up some strike here. We see some Piranha rockets coming out. Only flights of 4 of these is interesting. They do have the additional hanger. I assume there's just a load error.
Could be. The Beamstone, though, is pretty... it's trying to get back into position to start beaming the ships on A, although double monitor is
Beamstone wants to hit
really
one of
difficult.
those, not exposing to both, given the angle.
The Beamstone is on track, though. It is currently being tracked by Mason Squadron, which is that halberd out wide, allowing these monitors
that is a wide radar skiff.
Early warning of this Beamstone trying to poke out. You can see the monitors have already begun to open fire, and I have a
missile strike attempt up top onto the Axfords. 4 command-sized 2s might find their way in here. Comms Jam does kick on, though. Plasma starting to make a couple of bites into one of these Axfords.
CMD only, yeah, so it's not going to really catch. Star being really aggressive with the monitors here, attempting to just gain ground, but this is a massive fleet for Star to try and chew through right here. Although, Look at this. Torpedo hits into one of Surazol's Axfords on the boxer point, probably the last thing that duct tape was able to do before going down there. You can see the very, very telltale
Not
signs
nothing,
of a torpedo
but
hit.
certainly could be better.
It's degraded.
Hybrids under the map will find one of the cap guards. Miscellaneous loses the front of that ship, and the complex
No
gets
restores.
sniped.
Yep. Although there is no more line for those ships to hunt, they are still doing pretty good work being a flank here. Collapse the Electron with a very, very advantageous start here as they just throw their massive front line into the engagement, completely swallowing up most of the cap points here. Panther Squadron is able to get a good rocket strike on Trojan's A-cap monitor, or A-cap beamstone here. Unfortunately, it already did a lot of damage into these monitors here. They are restorable, but that damage is something that's going to last. Star now
Most
is
importantly,
in danger.
something that can
Star-
quickly be lost here. The antenna on one of those monitors gets sniped. This is one of those things that you don't really notice as you turn off the other section. It's very easy to miss that key detail. See if that gets
OSP
restored or
Star
not.
pushed really heavily into C, is now getting pincered by 6 Axfors right now, as the Axfors on the B flank, with nothing to stop them, just rush down Star, who is now out in the middle in the open. Vren is already pivoting guns, likely to engage.
Vren's attempting to get
pushing-
fire arc
yeah,
here, but
the pushing Axfors,
just does not
but,
have it. Vren
collapse
was
the
pushed
Electron
back given the distance, and
with
he's
a
now
very
watching
excellent-
Star gets eviscerated.
Collapse the Electron with a very excellent start right now. Is just able to swallow up pretty much all of OSP's fleets right now with the massive frontline push. Those Axfords are still relatively intact, and Star is taking a massive beating out in the open.
This is a 3-on-1 engagement here. Monitors are good, but against this much high-caliber sustained fire, we're starting to even see the secondary batteries lighting up here, as these monitors have taken so much armor damage that those AP rounds can get through the damage plating here.
3 of Star's 5 monitors are already, like, completely gutted, by the way.
Yeah.
Star is almost
Star likely
already
going the
out
way of
the
the dodo
fight.
here.
Yep. This massive frontline push, something that probably OSP wasn't really expecting here, as all of these Axfords are just going to continue their push directly into the monitor ball.
Decap will see a bit of a turnover here as Miscellaneous gets in with a T-20 shuttle, and a rocket strike from Secret Mink is going to clean up those cappers. ANS has effectively 6 heavy assets on the board, which they can do a lot with. We're seeing some engagements under the map, as well as the flanker aspect from Trojan Shadow gets found by Miscellaneous's multi-mission tug.
One of the MMTs gets track, and
It's going to be a break
No
of lock there. Those were
hits.
command and jammer counters.
Yep. Jamming out from one of those small ships down there breaks the lock at the last moment. Missiles go wide.
Taking a look at this,
C point is starting.
ANS
to
is getting
flip.
bled on the cap front a little bit, but OSP as well is really hurt. Their monitor count has just evaporated. Miscellaneous is effectively out for their monitors. Star is currently down
Star
to
is
what would
pretty
you say,
much-
like
Star
one
is out of
effective?
the fight already, with only 1 monitor left. Misk runs one of their MMTs. No, that's not the MMT. No, that is an MMT. Into secondary battery range of these Axfords. The beamstone, it looks like, is the thing providing some offset track for the Axfords. They're able to detect that under jamming, as that MMT is just going to get torn apart. C point denied. The Axfords have enough damage output to destroy that damaged monitor. That Star rushed into C to try and take it, as OSP unable to secure the 4 cap there.
OSP trying to make their comeback here as best they can. It's still very early on, and they have lost a lot of assets. Ren wants to try and take a gunfight here, but every force that they're engaging, ANS has wisely done this grouping where there's 50% more tonnage than you would normally expect to face off against for your comp. We're seeing Vren just not really able to find the engagement angle they like. They tried squaring off against 3 Axfords and then had to give ground. Star charges in to try and play aggressive, and the 2 players just not able to get their fire at the same time, as Pazuzu and Surzai over here just wisely fall back behind cover after securing C.
Probably a
Star-
little misplay from Star playing so aggressively
Yeah.
on the open like that. They were trying to push the Axfords off of C. They had track on the Axfords at Boxer. They knew that they were there. Curious as to why they didn't position themselves a bit different there, so they could have taken 1 ball at a time. But now it's pretty much just
I think
Vren
this was
left
a
on the
case of
front
not
line.
expecting the B push to come over so quickly. I think if they had a little more time or possibly tunnel visioning. Definitely has happened to me before in Neb doing that.
Right.
Bloom down to the D point will scorch one of the Duncan Idahos, but that doesn't really mean much given it's a shuttle. Lower part of the map is looking pretty comfortably in the hands of the OSP. ECAP are going to be cleaned up. I believe Cobra Flight inbound with bombs on this in a second should spell the end of that. Already used their rockets by the looks.
Mink is doing a really excellent job on the cap war right now, especially using those Ruddles very effectively. Is able to gut another one of Trojan's cappers, as Trojan is pretty much also out of the fight right now. So OSP's pretty much lost the front line, but they're winning the cap war quite decisively here. It's going to be up to Protector to take advantage of the cap opening and see if they can secure a cap win here. Because with this many Axfords around the map, I highly doubt that there's going to be much damage going into them anymore. Especially with...
Speaking of that, the Axford advantage, just in terms of body count, this is a comparison people have made before for ANS frontline fleets. Typically, you'll see a double Axford pair or a battleship. Benefit of the double Axford is these later game stages where you can split up your heavy assets, send each of them to control a point. ANS just needs to secure 3 points, and with 6 Axfords, you can put you can throw a task force oak on every point. OSP will have to decide which one they try and strike.
OSP currently with the cap advantage here. The Axfords aren't necessarily in the greatest spots to try and retake the points right now, although it is still very much early in the game. The massive Axford frontline from Collapse the Electron does an extremely good job of opening up the entire map for them. It's now up to them to capitalize on the opening they got with dealing with Star's Monitor Ball, as Star is down to a single damage to Monitor. Vryn is still hanging in there. One of their liners has taken significant damage, but the other one's still intact. They are now trying to engage Surazal here, although Surazal...
Even at this range...
Yeah, even at this range...
A surprising number of those shots going wide.
Well, these are...
Just goes to show why Double Raider is so good.
Double Raider Whip Axford builds here give you absurd levels of speed and maneuverability, as, yeah, you can very much see that in how they maneuver. E-Point is...
Vryn trying to do the Kyanite engagement here, and, like, for all the shots that they're putting out, not a lot of damage happening on these 3 Axfords. They've taken some here and there, like a couple guns are knocked out or an ammunition elevator, but for all the effort that OSP's put in, that is a healthy front line.
They're also engaging within secondary battery range of those Greedfords. 120s in that amount just tear apart liners. Vryn needs to get out of there. Those liners are going to go down real quickly here. As you can see, the damage is already starting to add up on even the healthy one. This is the healthy one that they're engaging, and you can see how much damage it's already doing.
Secondary batteries will punch right through that armor, like Scape said. Seeing a critical event go on. Boosted reactor gets sniped out here. Does have restores, but that's going to buy them a little bit of time as power is briefly cycling there. Has to turn off radar and engage.
Surazal also
from
with
behind,
the Axford flank. Yep, as nothing stopping the Axfords from just flanking around the side here. You can see Ambient Lamp just sits one of their Axfords on the boxer point, preventing it from getting back capped. While the others, looks like Ambient's other Axford is probably going to dive E, as the other one is just going to commit to this flank here on the liners.
Hot Rod Flight attempted to engage and instead gets eviscerated by SDM2s, has to break off from that. Axford Ball still has a decent count of missiles, and with only a singular support carrier here in the form of this Journeyman, losing those fighters is not something that they can really afford. If they're going to get a strike through, they need to have a critical mass to really sucker punch something and break that armor.
Vryn is forced to scram one of the liner's reactors here as Final Orders is dead in the water. No Other Way is getting absolutely torn apart, engaging this triple Axford. Now, 5 Axford combo here at close range.
5 Axfords onto these liners.
Vryn,
they will die incredibly fast.
Vryn, curiously deciding to push here, is just going to get torn apart by this crossfire.
Doesn't
here.
really have much of an option. Danger behind, danger ahead. They're trying to commit to the frontline fight, see if maybe they can hit one of these
They could have
Axfords
pivoted
here and knock them
closer
out.
to
But
A and tried to preserve for the cap war, but yeah, no, you're right. OSP,
it's just an awkward spot there, caught in the open up top, and then no cover nearby to run to or effectively hide under.
This is actually a pretty close repeat to what happened the last time Maintenance is a Birch was on Blood Moon. The enemy brought an extremely aggressive and extremely powerful fleet comp that they just pushed with very early on, and just like in the last time with the Sprinter Balls, Maintenance is a Birch here just gets overwhelmed and is unable to adjust to the massive rush at the beginning.
Yep.
Secret Mink.
We are seeing these Axfords start to get degraded. Couple shots into the broadside here, but OSP has just trickled in piecemeal, and these Axfords have happily won it with their heavy tonnage firepower.
All 6
also,
Axfords
on the cap war side,
perfectly functional.
You know, the 6th Axford in question over on the B side, because it has its secondary batteries, it can see off light cappers, especially with these things buffed up by, let's do an ammo elevator count. Yeah, 5 ammo elevators on 4 Mark 62s. That will rip apart any light asset that gets close.
Right.
In this case, I think that OSP, they wisely teched against Monitor Ball. We can see this just with the sheer, or wisely teched against Sprinter Ball using monitors. We see this with the body count of monitors. Each player bringing in at least 2 of them, or in the case of Ren, having the T20 secondaries. That said, though, team went the entire opposite way and went oops all beef as the Axford Ball just kind of emerged and shredded through the OSP front line.
Tector are trying to do their best to just dive onto C to take the point, although Surazol is already moving one of their Axfords onto the point to just contest it. Yeah, the monitor goes down and C point is denied. C point is not being taken by OSP anytime soon in this game. Secret Mink from below.
Reactor Bloom from one of these monitors might actually catch these Axfords here.
That's a light
30 seconds on
reactor.
that from the one last push for Star.
Yeah,
That's
CT11's pretty close here, although considering how much OSP's bled right now, I don't know if they really have much to take advantage of one of the Axfords losing its armor.
Yeah. Fighters could get a R2 strike through, provided there's still ammunition for that.
But look at this. Who is this? Pazuzu's also moving an Axford to C. Yeah, that Reactor Bloom's going to kill the armor on 2 Axfords here.
5 seconds to go here. Let's watch this bloom, shall we? Live reactor reaction right there. That is going to be a armor strip and a half on those Axfords. Does open them up to potentially these monitors from Secret Mink down low. These things have C90 and T30 and can actually start doing some damage now.
They can swap to HEHC. Let's see if they do that. They're currently busy just gutting one of Pazuzu's Axfords here. The broadside, honestly, from the C90s is doing an excellent job of just degrading Busy Talon here. As you can see, it's currently
Busy Talon,
down.
taking a look at it.
No, it's pretty injured.
It has suffered a lot of damage staying in that static position. We talked before how the C90 can be dodged quite easily with Double Raider, but once you get to this degraded state where a lot of your thrusters are missing or your drives have been like dinged, say losing one of them, denies you the thrust there, that's where the C90 becomes so scary because it's like, what, 300 or 360 damage a pop with this thing?
Right.
CCAP contest is actually going to start up here slightly as Final Orders, despite being burned to a crisp.
Barely on the point, but yeah, Trojan steps on one of their functional cappers here. Functional is a strong word. This thing has basically nothing left in it. It's functional enough to contest
I thought you were referring
the
to the Axford there for a second, but...
no, I was talking about the capper. Yep. Ooh, a little bit of friendly
RPF
fire
starting up
going
here,
on.
trying to get the crew kill on this.
Zuzu slightly friendly firing Surazol's Axford on C here with the RPF secondaries there. They are just close enough to prox fuse. It's an Axford. It can take a few rounds.
Yep. Alright, so currently seeing the E-cap flip go through. Oop, another reactor bloom. That one's a little far away from everything, so no major flips there.
Anything.
Ambient Lamp made their way onto the E point, though, and is seeing off one of the tugs there. Yep, a Duncan Idaho tug goes down to this RPF fire.
And yeah, you can see that the mass strat from Collapse the Electron with the Axfords, they're just going to throw their ships onto points here. I have a feeling that Ambient Lamp is going to sit that Axford onto E and is not going to move it off the point until the game ends. Same with Surazol heading A right now. There is that J-Man on the point here.
Journeyman is the one hope that OSP has right now, trying to get an R2 strike onto these, cripple them enough for a potential bomb follow-up. OSP's front line is non-existent, and it's really on Mink right now to see what they can do. Misk is down to 2 of their tugs holding ground.
I still
Cap
think
state,
there's
3 cap for ANS.
There's more than enough Axfords here to win on points, as all... Because, I mean, even with just 3 caps, ANS wins here. It's the Protectorate needs to take a point here or else they lose, and with this many Axfords just around the map, I highly doubt that that's possible.
Yep.
CT12
Removing ANS cap fleet was a good move, but unable to deny any of these Axfords. You really need to limit the ANS body count. Oop, we lose Darg in the spectator booth there. That's unfortunate.
Probably a DC.
Yep. Vulture Flight coming around the corner here. They're going to go for their run. Greedfords do pay for this a little bit. However, they do have point defense in Arc the Defender. Let's see if Vulture gets their strike in or not.
Yeah, it has 2 defenders on the shoulders, which means that
R2's away.
It should be able to deal with bombs. Rockets like that aren't going to pin the armor as 2 of the fighters immediately just go down. There's 3 down. They're going to turn
Defender
around
cleans
and
up on the way out.
try and drop bombs, but yeah, the Defender was just quick enough to just gut them. Secret
In
Mink.
this case, you need to target certain components like radar panels or point defense guns, forcing your rockets onto target. So we see them spread wide there.
On an Axford with still fully healthy armor, I don't really think that's necessarily possible, though. Not with 1 R2 strike.
Yeah, need to get
As
enough of them into one area to break those panels.
Secret Mink looks like
Mink
they're going to go
trying
the
here,
way
but-
of Star early on, as their monitors are now being crossfired from 2 different directions here. Broadside on monitors die really quickly to 450. As you can see, the damage is already starting to add up.
T30 guns getting knocked out very fast. Fairly squishy, all things considered, the T30, but it is able to do a lot of damage before it goes down, provided you are against a target that is not a armored up asset like this Axford. R2's not ATGT-able. Interesting. I was under the impression that they were. I believe that with certain missiles you can target components. Only R1s because they're technically guns. Ah, right. There it is.
It's a balanced consideration.
Slight difference
of
in the
R2s.
text there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think OSP has anything left to dislodge even just one of these Axfords from the point here.
Yeah.
Mink is just getting gutted right now by the crossfire.
ANS just managing to take that frontline fight advantage. They won in different areas, secured B side, secured C side, and then just swept through, having, well, effectively just removed the OSP's frontline. They brought 50% more beef on the front, and it paid off for them.
Right, it's all they needed to do. The catching Star out in the middle with the monitors there, I think, was the decisive moment of this battle. Star played those really aggressively despite knowing the flank was possible, and paid very dearly for it, as, you can see here, it looks like Maintenance is a Birch.
Definitely could have been a different engagement. Vren had to give ground awkwardly there, which hurt them. If Vren had started coordinating a little better, possibly swung around the right side of C point, that gives an avenue for the carrier potentially come from below with an R2 strike, taking out at least one Axford. They did have a tonnage advantage of 6,000 points squaring off against 4.5, but just couldn't capitalize on it there.
Right. No, the Axford, the triple Axford over Boxer swung too fast for Protectorate to really take advantage of being able to catch the first group over C. And the mispositioning of Star's monitors kind of sealed their fate there, as they were just able to get crossfired for free by the secondary Axford group.
Talking briefly about this, some people saying, one from editor, certainly in effect there, OSP was expecting a Sprinter Ball or much more light asset focused than this ended up being.
Right.
They brought a lot of stuff to take out lighter capper assets and instead just got faced off with 9k of Axford beef.
I'm willing to bet Collapse the Electron probably was aware of that assumption, that they were expecting a Sprinter Ball. It's possible that they guessed, considering what happened last time with Maintenance's Birch on Blood Moon.
Yep.
As,
definitely some interesting stuff here, mind games-wise, in the Fleet Editor, as we've seen Sprinter Ball very good this tournament, but at the same time, these Greedfords, these have been making a bit of a comeback lately, as people have decided that, hey, secondary Battleground Liner's pretty good. What if we took that on Axford? And, well, we see the damage numbers able to be pulled here.
Right. If you know what you're doing with the soft kill setup on Greedfords, you can pull off pretty much the same survivability with the secondary batteries now. As, Collapse the Electron is going to take that 1-0. As it's going to be Maintenance is a Birch is going to be able to decide the next map. Let's see what they decide to choose.
All right. We're going to go for our little 3-minute between matches intermission now. So if you want to grab a drink or popcorn or whatnot, this is your time, folks. So we'll be running ad break intermission now. It's going to stay on the live screen, though.
Ooh, massive upset in the gambling. I know that it was only like 30 seconds that we did this, but 15% chose ANS. So that's going to be a lot of points being shaken up there. Anyway, 3-minute ad break. We'll be back for the next one in just a moment.
All right. So, VOD exclusive content right now, folks.
Yes.
I remember to fill my water bottle beforehand so we don't have to step away. Honestly, a faster game than we've seen for some of these tournament first matches. That was a elimination win more so than a cap win.
It was a very aggressive push from Collapse the Electron there. They took full advantage of their ability to just win the frontline engagements. Honestly, the two trickle Greedford groups worked really well there, as that was a lot of meat in 2 different spots right there. They played it really well. They were able to get those crossfires that are very, very valuable. And yeah.
Gonna bump escape up a little bit, as apparently you're a little quieter, so we'll just fix that.
How
there
does
we
this
go.
keep happening? Please tell me I'm
no, I just had to turn down slightly on Discord. I don't know how, when, or why that happened, but...
Interesting. Okay, well, I'm at the correct audio level for my end on my...
Sounds good on my end, and look at the sliders, you seem fine.
Hang on.
So,
let me just verify that, because I know that was a problem with the first match we had in this tournament. It was, my audio was just broken for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my
I had to
audio
bump you up in
input.
the edit screen, so.
No, my audio
But
input's
for anyone wondering,
correct. Interesting.
shameless shilling from me here. I have a YouTube channel that I upload to occasionally, so you can check out some of the videos we've uploaded of the tournament matches there. We've got more of those coming out soonish. We're just polishing off the publishing for that, so
Yep.
that'll be coming to you when it does. Yeah.
Sanjover v. Hajonk went live earlier today on my channel. Neko had that up yesterday, and tomorrow I should have Freak Bob Spinhouse v. 120 SPM.
Yep, I believe I've got those scheduled as well. I have to get you the invite link for all that, but...
Yep, and then, of course, following with the trend, Sunday will be Collapse Electron v... Oh my god, who did they even go against? I completely forgot. 5 girls, 1 Grungler, that's what it was. Alrighty. Teams are still deciding on a map right now, as Star suggests small testing range. Don't think that's in the list.
Speaking of the list, let me just double check that real quick. See who we have playing this weekend against who.
For the next upcoming matches.
So yeah, today is maintenance is a Birch versus Collapse Electron. Tomorrow, 120 SPM. Oh, right. Sorry. No, don't worry. We're like over 15 minutes in the recording. It's fine. We can get away with cursing slightly.
YouTube. That's YouTube.
Oh, right. That's fine. Bot exclusive. Whatever. Don't worry about
it. Yep. Saturday in the early morning.
Yes. So for those of you who are not familiar, super early morning instead of the late night evening games that we've been casting. 120 SPM will square off against Yonk. So look forward to that on Saturday.
Yeah, that one tomorrow, that's 7 in the morning for me. So I'm gonna set my alarm for 6, put a bunch of caffeine in me, and see what happens. All right, what did we choose? Yukon. It looks like Maintenance's Birch chooses Yukon as our second game here. Perhaps remembering how well the first how things went the last time they were on Yukon, as someone on the opposing team brought technology that didn't work. Let it be a cautionary tale for all the tournament teams. Test your torpedo tunings before giving 9, like 3/4 of your team fleets completely dependent on said torpedoes. All right, I'm gonna start the poll now for who's gonna win.
While we're at that, Scape, I'm just gonna forward you something here real quick. I've been accused of skill issuing it to some degree, and while they are technically correct,
you've skill issued. Oh my god! Wait, what?
Yeah, I didn't know that was a setting either. So
can you wait? Can you just do that to yourself? No, I can't. What? Hang on.
Mic icon bottom left on the Discord there. There's a little chevron next to it.
Holy shit! Thank you so much, Liz.
Yeah, so you know, fuck it, we'll just link it. Liz basically was like, "Hey, you guys are idiots. There's a setting on your mic icon. You can click push to talk. You know how to go into the voice settings options at all."
Liz is 100% right there on us being idiots. Yeah. Let's be real here.
To be fair, like I still maintain the complaint, which is like, why does this not just like enable whenever you enter a push to talk only channel? Why does it force the global switch? I think that's bad design. But at the same time, I did not know that was a setting, and I've used Discord for many years now.
Once again, Discord just being the greatest platform to ever exist.
Changing its UI randomly on us again, so
Liz, if you're watching, you've created the perfect video game, because whenever YouTube's AI tries to understand what's in my videos, it actually like freaks out and just loses its mind. It's incredible. For people who don't know, I literally just posted this in my server and my memes channel before I went live. YouTube has a thing called inspirations, where AI generates 5 potential video ideas with thumbnails based on like what your channel has. And oh my god, it cannot understand Neb. Here, to
be fair, neither does the average player, so...
territory mode, but with Nebulous Fleet Command. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's just Nebulous Fleet Command. Cluster Bomb Masterclass. Why yours miss? And then on the thumbnail, there's a title on the thumbnail that says Clubster Masterclass. Oh my god, it's so great. Oh.
It's also great watching some of the captioning stuff, trying to figure out how to caption any of the terminology used.
There's the there's the captioning, and then there's also AI summaries of like your videos.
Escape hit the ready button real quick.
Oh shit! Yep, I should probably
Getting
do
everyone
that.
set up here. Now we can bully the teams into getting the game on. There we go. Perfect.
Yeah, the AI like summarize attempts for my videos is absolutely. If you want like a cheap laugh, just literally go into one of my videos and pop up app like Google's said apples. What the fuck? Pop up YouTube's like summarize this part of the video for me please thing, because oh my god, it does not understand what the fuck is going on in my videos. What happened to the War Reporter? The War Reporter was nuked by Dashort. That one's my favorite.
Yep. Well, this happened. Don't question it too much. Anyways.
No, my favorite part of that video is that's completely not what happens, but it's just it's so wrong. It's so great. All right.
So teams swap up a little bit here as we get some tags out and subs in. We're seeing Maintenance is a Birch comes out with Star, Potato Master, Secret Mink, and Pyrope in their lineup. Team 2, we can see Pazuzu, Trojan Shadow, Surzal, and Mulgan Dragon. I believe they step in there for the miscellaneous tagging out.
Yeah, Misk tags out on Birch, and it looks like Ambient tags out on Collapse the Electron.
Right, and Vren as well did a swap out there.
Oh, yeah.
So trying to keep the player names straight.
Master. Potato Master hops into Birch instead of Vren there, as we got 2 subs for Birch. 1 sub for Electron here, as Mulgan replaces Ambient.
There we go. Anyways, Team 1, Birch just waiting to ready up. Previously on Yukon, we saw Star pull some insane numbers with CLs. Those videos, I believe, are either up or coming soon, so you can watch... right, it's the Tasty Torpedo found behind Caltrop.
Those ones are very much already out. That was the first match we had of this tourney. Those are out already.
All right. So potentially see a similar thing come out here. We're seeing, again, for tournament play like this, all-in strategies are quite potent. We saw the all-in Ruddle play. That will be posted shortly. We saw the all-in Sprinter Ball, the Axford Beef Cell in the last game there. Just 9k of heavy metal capital ship just bearing down wherever they could on any unsuspecting OSP frontline fleet.
Right. I think the really defining feature of those all-in strategies has been how the teams execute them. So far, whenever one of these teams does one of those all-in strategies, they execute on it perfectly. The Ruddle strat was executed really well with the half of them kept in reserve.
Escape, I'm going to have to hit you with the actually, as there was a 3 Moorline build that...
This, oh yeah, and then the Moorline build too, yep. Sorry, the ones that have won because they were able to execute on the all-in strategy really excellently. I should have specified that because yeah, that is true. No, and honestly, the 3 Moorline loss was because the torpedoes like legitimately were built to miss.
Did not work, yeah. All right, let's take a look at what players bring in here now. Yukon tends to be a more close quarters focused map. You can see some things like, Pyro briefly pausing there for a second.
Forgets to change their fleet
there we go.
Badge and tag too.
Yep.
Representing Ruby to the very end.
Just gonna call that Ruby moment. All right, there we go. All right, so we've seen Pyro pull some weird tech out before, and it's worked disturbingly well, all things considered.
If I see a Sarissa CL again, I'm gonna lose it.
And that game, though, it pulled numbers.
It did. Read of the century in terms of selecting that fleet. All right. The polls have ended. It looks like chat favors OSP to win here. We'll see if that pans out.
Well, let's read them and weep then, shall we? So we spawn in and see what players happen. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to round 2 of match 5 of the NEBVEMBER tournament. We have Maintenance is a Birch squaring off against Collapse the Electron. I'm Nickelboy Blue and joined in the co-caster's booth by Scape GT.
Hello.
All right. Like we said, this is round 2. Maintenance is a Birch, consists of Secret Mink, Pyrope, Star 1954, and Potato Master.
Team 2, we have Collapse the Electron, Pazuzu, Mulligan, Trojan, and Surazol.
All right, so round 1 of this tournament, we saw ANS take it with a 6 Axford build that worked very well. A lot of heavy brawling. Teams have since swapped sides now, so Collapse the Electron will take the OSP side. We're going to see what tools are coming out to play. I'm looking low on ANS. I'm seeing Mark the Time, which is Task Force Birch, likely piloted by Star. We saw him do very well before
Star
on this
is
map.
the only one on... Oh, no, there's 2 people, I guess, on Team 1 that are using unique fleet tags, but yep, that is definitely Star and Mark the Time there. It looks like we also have a CL half cap, I'm assuming is what the other CLs are part of here, considering there's only 2 of them and no escorts, doing an E-poke.
A lot of CL coming out to play so far. I'm seeing a lone Axford from Pyrope here on the left flank for ANS, the Ruby Knight with a escorting destroyer.
Birch, once again, not electing to bring that much frontline here, as we can see that, once again, Electron, we got a massive frontline ball up top there. You can see that looks like... 4
Acellos?
No, that's 5 Acellos.
Is that 5?
It's 2 groups of 2, and then 1 spare with a monitor. So yeah, that should be 5.
Yes, I see the pairings in there.
1 liner wide with 1 liner wide E, I should say, and 1 low. Ooh, large and in charge. Looks like it's probably going to try to stop that CL rush that Electron is probably expecting here on Yukon. We will see if it's able to do so. It's going to be a single liner versus a fully built CL fleet. Yep, Electron once again trying to do that heavy frontline fleet. We will see if the CL strat that Birch has brought will be able to counter that.
Neither team really electing for much in the way of backline assets, probably expecting both teams to be proficient at fishing for those with missiles or carrier strike.
Actually, yeah, now that you mentioned that, we haven't really had any carriers or missile builds from either team so far. And it doesn't look
just
like
a little bit of light checkbox there. All right, shall I read off the ANS side then?
Yep, you can start with Potato.
All right, Potato Master comes in with actually 2 CL fleet missiles on the backpack. Ooh, Acello killers on these things. Going to do some work this game, provided they can catch these Acellos isolated instead of that 5-ball. Do not try missiling that. That will just throw your missiles away. All right, just going to see a double Vauxhall plus Jam Vet combo there towards the east side. Very common Vauxhall comp there. Briefly flicking over to Star to do parallels. This is the triple Vox component, which is a little bit lighter in terms of its burst damage with no missiles to it, but instead does have a lot more gun, so this will be sweeping the underside right side of the map. Pyrope makes up the lone front line with the Ruby Knight, a not great for, has Sarissas instead of Mark 62s all the way around on that. Interesting stuff. Carrier backpack with some fighters. This is track correlated spyglass, providing them long range firepower. Along with this, they have a railgun destroyer, so coming in full tech. Rail is going to do a lot against these breedbirds if they get on target.
Acellos.
Little ablative capper going towards seaside. Secret Mink comes out with 1, 2, 3 beamstones distributed across the map. These the very cheap version, just going to chaff box, bullseye, and beam, not bothering with the 20 mil defenders. They've got themselves a sort of gun vet backline hunter. I believe we saw this before. Yes, this is the Prowler drive with the parallax for lock. This is going to try and hunt for backline assets there with its missiles. Saw this in Game 1 Gold Rush at some point in the tournament. Besides that, the rest of the comp consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gun vets, sans defender. Trying to save budget where they can. All right. What do we got on OSP Sidescape?
Well, I have a feeling it's pretty evident here, as I'm seeing 4 gun Acellos in 1. I'm presuming a rail Acello, considering where it is.
Yep, that would be Mulligan Dragons.
Well, Collapse the Electron's masked frontline strat worked last time. Why not just do it all over again? As, yep, these 4 Acellos are just going to rush down the center of the map here. Supported by a CIA monitor up top. I'm seeing a lot of track correlators in that. Yep, that is a very, very aggressive push here. With rail support, too, against any potential ANS frontline, that is going to hurt. However, ANS does not appear to have brought much frontline other than an Axford, so we'll see how that pans out. Mulligan is the one with the rail cello here. It looks like it's a half-cap fleet here. They also have the CIA monitor and a scattering of Ruddles around the map. You can see these things positioning at advantageous ambush points. We did see in the last match that Collapse the Electron very much does favor these Ruddles here. As you can see, it looks like 2 of them flanking low, 2 flanking wide on E. Those are going to be really deadly for ANS's Beamstones if they're not caught in time. Although, with all these CLs, ANS might have a good time at intercepting
Already
those.
2 of them getting fished out here. One gets pinged low by Star on the right flank for ANS side, and the other one on the E point is just going to be shredded. Actually, that is a T-20 shuttle, not rocket shuttle. My bad.
Right. Pazuzu and Surazal are the ones bringing the Celos here. This is the same exact fleet. Brandon Hill and the Immortal Part are identical between both players. It looks like these are going to be a mix of Ceruses and Auroras, pretty standard for this. That is a lot of point defense to get through. Those Acelo killers might not be able to get through that. And then
interesting stuff about this as well, if I may add on. So being the same fleet, these are very strong all together as you're just layering your defenses on top of each other. But taking a look at the actual internalized builds for these, I'm not sure if this is going to do it for them or not. They are very good in the heavy cruiser front, but they are lacking the mobility. They don't have radar drive, so their dodging is going to be heavily impacted.
They do have
Yard drive does make up for it a bit, but
not as much as radar does. Well, the big question here is if the CLs are going to be able to deal with those Acelos.
Exactly.
And then rounding things out for the Protectorate here, Trojan looks like they're also bringing a bit of a half cap here. I'm looking at double 250 liner. Yep, one on E and one low below Dagger. And a varying amounts. Are these all guns, or do we have some Ruddles in here? Nope, these are all guns. One of them is a cringe capper disabled on E right now. All right. Initial state of the board right now, as we look at the initial rollouts. OSP is doing the really aggressive frontline push as we expected. The 4 Acelos push really aggressively. Discover one of Secret Mink's Beamstones here as it tries to... It looks like it's ascending into cover back towards C-Rock here.
Trying to get towards cover there, but...
Dodge it. Doing a decent job of dodging. It does have a radar, and it is not being target locked at this range, although any shots into that beam is going to come back to haunt this thing later.
Yeah. No target lock, but at the same time, that's like blood track correlated Bloodhound. That is very accurate, even though it's, what, 14 kilometers or so away, give or take. Hard to get an exact read on this.
You can see this Beamstone's already trying to move back there. No jam support means that that thing is just going to get pretty much permanently spotted out in the open there.
Yep. Rails open up just for good measure. I think that's a bit of a misplay on OSP's part, tipping their rail hand this early. They could have kept that thing hidden for a while. Instead, that's going to be intel for the ANS side.
Right.
Star, once again, like in Yukon games of past, is flanking under the map. Early warning radar from that CAA monitor will rat them out here, so OSP knows that that's a threat. Question's what will they do about it?
ANS attempts to take E point here. They lose the capper. Looks like it gets gunned down by Trojan's 250 liner as it just swiftly pulls back into cover after denying the point capture there. Potato Masters, double CL fleet on the flank here at E, now hunting for a target by the looks of it. Meanwhile, Mulgan, target locked low under B. You can see there. It looks like they were going to try and rush out and hit that Beamstone, although they were spotted in the act. Secret Mink is already pivoting their Beamstone out to engage that, making sure it doesn't sneak up on them. And
that Ruddle was detected early on by Star, and then it had to briefly go to ground. I'm kind of liking what we see here from OSP as they step onto A-cap, knowing that the Beam Destroyer carding that has been pretty thoroughly gutted. This thing is alive on a technicality.
Nothing going to stop that A-cap attempt here as the CLs are out of position to deal with that. The Beamstones are as well, as OSP's probably going to take A here.
So taking a look at this, OSP is pushing very aggressively across the spine here, but ANS wisely giving ground. ANS knows they have a mobility advantage with their double CL fleets.
Ooh, Pyro catches
detail
the
is their
broadside.
win condition.
Pyro catches the broadside of this Acelo here at middle, firing 450 AP, unfortunately, probably expecting it to be bow on. We will see if they swap to HE. The rails as well, doing some work here. It looks like Surazal was trying to pivot bow to the triple Acelo, pushing Dagger, and gets ambushed here. Yep,
High explosive swap now on. There it is. Rail going to do a little bit of work as well. Pyro doing a very good job with this kind of checkbox tech fleet. Pyro always has interesting tools, so if you get her in that kind of tech slot on the team, cover your front line and cap rolls, she can bring out some weird stuff.
Secret Mink
love seeing this now is this... Oop. Whereabouts?
An A counter cap attempt from Mink here.
Mink's
yeah,
gonna step on, but that is eviscerated instantaneously.
Moves their 250 liner away from Dagger, recognizing that it's not going to really be doing much against those Acelos, and just repivots it back to guarding A, where it's much more useful.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Potato...
I'm liking what we see here as these voxels are trying to play the flank. We see Potato Master playing a little bit passively on the low side of the map. Can definitely get more aggressive.
Does catch out one of Mulligan's Ruddles, though. Target lock with the RPF coming in now. That is another Ruddle dealt with, as it's going to have no problem destroying that. Ooh, look at this. On C point, Secret Mink aggressively repositioning that Beamstone to try and get some flanking shots on these Acellos here, as... yeah, ANS just desperately trying to get some crossfires here. A little bit of the frontline push here, as we saw in the last one.
I'm going to say that this is a bit of a mistake, honestly, from OSB side.
You can see the massive frontline push worked in the last one, but only if you're able to develop those crossfires here, as now these Acellos
Star gonna bite off more than they can chew here. Getting in gun range of those Acellos is tempting, but that goes both ways.
Yeah. The Bloodhound track from the CIA monitor is now just tracking them, as those CLs probably should start moving back to cover here because they're going to get gutted.
450 does not play against these light cruisers, as we see a lot of it gonna miss there at first, thanks to Star just being able to dodge. They've got these Raider Whiplash set up, so they're trying to go to ground as best they can, but if they hang out too long, this 450 will start to impact. We see them now dodging just barely again, playing Toho in this backline, but that rail is going to start adding up as well, getting crit fires going here.
You can also see how much...
talking about the counter jam as well. Look at the illumination.
Yep, that is gonna. Yeah, Star is gonna be completely unable to hide from detection here, especially with that CIA monitor up top, just providing offset track the entire time. The rails are starting to hit the CLs. The CLs actually dodging a lot of the rails. Pretty impressive work from Star there. They will be forced.
Star very experienced in that light cruiser department, but at the same time they are playing with fire here.
The Acellos now repivoting bow on to Pyrope here, as the CLs are no longer a threat on the flank. Pyrope doing their best to try and relieve some pressure from Star here. Is actually dark right now. Pyrope using that quad TC spy very, very excellently here. Is able to spot those Acellos, get some Firebolt tracks without getting spotted in return. These Acellos, I believe, are all para, correct?
I believe that would be the case.
No spyglass to spot that that Axford here. Star does get
Star's Gambit kind of pays off, makes them think twice about going towards Seaside with their push. These Acellos are 6,000 points of asset that's currently just high up in orbit, not really threatening or contesting anything.
Right.
Secret Mink looking like they're going to potentially bleed a capper here to T20s. We see 450 from the Acellos firing, but that won't do much.
Ooh, but look at this. Potato is going to take advantage of that liner's focus on the capper, as they're going to flank around with these CLs here. Although, look at this as well. Mulligan has a Ruddle in a really excellent ambush position. Mulligan is moving it right now. They are aware that it's there. That might
trying to get those two. I think that's...
As Potato Master,
I think that OSB has potential here, but at the same time, we'll see if they follow through on that. That Ruddle is in a position to punish, like you mentioned. Same time, OSP 450 frontline is going to lock onto Pyrope now. She's going to dodge for all she has. Only singular Raider on this due to power requirements for track correlator and also compartment congestion.
Pyrope does
Rail's
not
also going to add up
fight.
very quickly here.
Pyrope does not want to be taking this fight right now. They are target locked there within lock range. They need to get into cover and start using that. Ooh, look at this. Mink with the Beamstone at sea. Pivots it enough to get a massive beam hit into the broadside of Surazal there, as that Acello
is playing this beautifully with their triple comp approach angle.
That's CIC down on the Acello being beamed, and you can see the other ones are pretty much out of position to help here. They are starting to pivot now. We will see how much damage that beam actually does to this
450 takes a second to turn and burn. They do not have the burst of liners, and honestly, Mink just perfectly happy to trade this very cheap, like 500-point beam destroyer for a 1,500-point 3-to-1 ratio.
It's a Raider drive beamstone too, so Mink is just going to be able to pull that back into cover after doing that.
It will get out. It will get crit by these fires, which with only 4 teams, that will cripple them for a little bit here, but still.
They'll have to.
That's a massive trade for
ANS
ANS.
Control there. Although you can see Trojan now is taking advantage of the Beamstone's mispositioning here, as they are going to just rush onto C here. It is worth noting that Pyrope and Mink do have gun cappers in reserve by C to support.
Potato Master gets locked up immediately, and Mulligan might be a little bit slow on the draw here.
Yeah,
that Ruddle is in position, but not firing.
They get target lock. If they're able to disable that, that's a basic CSC. They're gonna have no problem taking that out before that Ruddle is able to engage. As yeah, it looks like
one gun already goes down. Second rocket launcher on the way. Yep,
Potato
denied.
Is going to be completely okay there.
Yeah. ANS's win condition right now is these Voxels in the backline hunting for these isolated bulkers. They got them from both angles. Couple missiles from the backline as well, as Secret Mink goes for the rail and is actually going to snipe it.
Those are
Reactors
good hits.
briefly going out.
DC Small is down, which means that one rail is permanently out.
Sun drive on this thing.
That's
Interesting
a
choice.
risky play on drives for that thing, especially putting it in that slot. As, yeah, this thing's now under fire. Reactor down, as the 250 AP is going to start pinning here. Those missiles are doing a really good job
250
of
AP will actually
stopping
take
up.
out one of those reactors, and there's no restores. This thing is bled.
Basically
Like,
mission killed already, yeah. Yep, no power to power anything right now. The 250 AP might actually be enough to kill that thing.
Beam Destroyer on the C point. Trojan Shadow is going to flank it with a gun capper, and then the Acellos will push over.
They're
Still,
gonna push
ANS
over,
just
yep.
running circles around OSP right now. They are all over their backline, compromising various assets. Acellos need to push now as they're down to effectively like 3 of them. The wounded Acello is trying to put itself together, but not
OSP
surviving
is
there.
gonna hold a 4-cap for a moment here. Although it looks like ANS is attempting a recapture of C right now. Probably up a little bit late on the C denial here. Allows Trojan to take the point. Mink's Beamstone is now bled, although it has already done a very good job at
Definitely
gutting
got its
one of
value.
these, Acellos here. It should be
Last
worth
second
mentioning
AMM
that
denial on D point as the gun frigate tries to clear that. We can see Secret Mink here as well with their Capper Corvette. ANS playing very good mobility style. Trojan Shadows had to try and move towards A point with their liners. They do not want to take this 250 fight. They are out-tunned in both of those. Have to consolidate their force to fight one of them.
Right.
Cap situation right now, OSP is a little bit favored, but E will flip as Potato Master steps on with their Jam Vet.
Potato flick firing onto a life pod. That's not
probably
gonna look
thinks
good.
that this is a shuttle out here,
Probably it
so
came out
minor
of
stable
nowhere, yep.
violation.
Just a little bit of one. ANS is going to take Dagger here, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to be contested on that. Trojan's liner out of position to really guard the point, as their other liner
Trojan forced to give
is-
ground
yeah.
as they just get compromised by all of this flanking CL. Ruddle Strike on the B side, you can see 2 rockets go out here. Secret Mink is trying to use their beam here. They are moving as well at 30. Yeah, just flank speed on these
Raider
Raider drives.
Assuming this thing adjusts course, it should be good. That was a really long range. Whoa, never mind.
Does find purchase with one. That's
Surprising
unusual.
Considering the range
Quick
those
break.
were launched at.
Dodges.
There's the break.
Yeah.
Beam is bearing to target as Mulgan starts taking some RPF fire here. I believe the Beamstone should be able to
just at the
deny
edge of
that.
range, if I had to guess. Ruddle trying for
That
this,
was a-
but will get
That
found
was
out.
a over 6-kilometer Ruddle strike on that Beamstone.
Yeah.
That was pretty impressive, if I'm being honest.
I think they must have just been moving in forward direction or something there, because they were at 30, and normally when dodging, that will not hit at all. Right. Voxels continue to compromise the backline, fishing for whatever they can find. They will find Trojan Shadow's liner here, the large and in charge, that's trying to run. They get a quick burst of 250s. Both sides trade fire here.
Potato Master pretty favored here in this fight. They're moving up their Jam Escort 2 to provide some jamming support to engage that liner. That liner is Huntress with a pinpoint, so theoretically it might be able to do a little bit about the jamming, but that's only at
More
extremely
importantly,
close range.
Take a look at the internals of that liner. Although they only got briefly shot, they are losing a lot of their buff modules here and the pinpoint.
This is a liner moment if I've ever seen one. Only one buff module left alive, and that's the only thing damaged on this thing. Oh, jeez.
Additionally, look at this. The Huntress radar combined with the pinpoint is a very good combo at 6.5 kilometers. However, since these voxels are engaging at the 8-kilometer mark, they will not have accurate fire out to that range, especially not with jamming.
Right. Pyrope doing a pretty good job
Pyrope
of
doing her
keeping
best
the...
to occupy Cerazol at the moment, as
C is
these
being...
Acellos...
Whoa. The Acellos pull back from C as ANS is going to retake C. The Acellos not denying the point as Pyrope is just able to deny...
At the same time, how can they deny the 450 ineffective against these Capper Corvettes? The Beamstone goes down, sure, but it already got its worth. ANS looking to secure themselves a 4-cap right now.
Mulgan attempts another Ruddle strike on Potato Master at E, but Potato Master, way too quick on the trigger, immediately swaps fire to that Ruddle and just eviscerates it before it has time to launch. As Star is just free to move around the map in the back line here with the CLs. Getting behind those Acellos is going to be really devastating for them, considering that they can only bound tank a single direction at a time. If Star moves up, they're going to get a really nasty flank into
Ooh,
both the
shots
liner.
going into the rail, just not destroyer. Axford now as Pyrope gets a track onto that and is starting to fire away at it.
You
Rails
said
will
the
return
wrong
fire,
ship
but
twice. That is an Acello, not an Axford, but
yep.
we all
there we
do
go
it.
again.
We all do
Ships, Axford, Zacello, we've done that before. Right. Trojan Shadow continue to try and run around here. They're going towards D side. They're actually going to get caught by Pyrope now, who switches her fire over. Star looking to collapse on this as they get jamming and are just diving towards that liner, knowing that they're between a rock and a hard place.
Yep. Star just
Ooh,
free
reactor
to be
bloom
in-
on the east side.
Ooh, does it cook?
Doesn't catch potato, but
Nope, the CLs just barely evade that. That was a detonation of one of OSP's ships, so ANS did not get any warning on that. Very, very lucky from them. You can see Star here, yeah, now popping out against this liner. This liner, pinned between the Axford and the CLs, is just going to get torn apart.
this is
the Acellos-
rocking a hard place and a half. They're
the
trying to get their
Acellos
guns
are-
on target, but
The
they
Acellos are
don't
just
have it.
completely out of position to provide support for that liner, as, yeah, a combination of Star and Pyrope. Pyrope actually now pivots over to the Acellos, which are pushing through C right now. They do get target lock and are going to start putting fire into Pyrope's railstone.
To the
here.
credit of the destroyer, it has survived a surprising amount of time despite the lock and such here. It's just been dodging with that Raider drive.
Yep, Raider drive keeps it alive. It does lose its antenna, though, so it's no longer receiving tracks from Pyrope's Axford here. You can see Pyrope is using one of the restores to bring that back online. That is a very, very crucial component of that ship, as it does not have its own search functionality on it. Trojan is able to use the liner's decent speed to duck back into cover here, as, yep, Star has been ranged out just barely on the 250s. Meanwhile, Potato is going to start pivoting up towards C, it looks like here, as the Protectorate has been pretty much...
Protectorate's been stuck on the
Yeah.
top of the map for the entire game and just
Without
gone nowhere with it. Despite their
the,
frontline advantage, they never capitalized.
The massive frontline gambit is a very effective strategy, as we saw the last time, but without the ability to really establish a crossfire to hold ground like they did in the first time here, the massive frontline gambit is just not going to work here. You can see here Trojan
Now seeing Pyrope
steps...
actually gets hit here by Trojan in the flank. This is what they've been wanting to do all game, but it's taken them half the score to do it.
Right.
Pyrope takes a hit here, but still, this is a built-up Axford, 15 damage control teams and 7 restorers, even with a
That
locker
is-
down.
That is a Pyrope hero Axford. If it gets into cover here, it is going to be able to restore itself to 100% effectiveness with zero problems at all. Meanwhile,
Furthermore,
OSP
Star
does
comes around
actually-
now, finding the 250 liner from behind. Trojan Shadow going to take some more 250 hits. Star, I think, is just going to put pedal to the metal and go for it, as this is
Right.
a pretty much free to collect backline.
This is the flank that the OSP needed to win this one, as Star is just freely able to engage these ships from the sides and from the backs. If those Acellos aren't careful, Star is just going to flank kill them here.
250 trying to run right now. We see once these other two CLs get into range, this is going to die incredibly quickly.
Potato Master
It's already
does...
taking quite a splashing.
Secret Mink is going to lose one of their beamstones on Boxer here, as a Ruddle for Mulgan finally makes purchase and does core it. B is now at risk of falling to OSP right now. OSP finally stepping on the C.
C-Cap steps
Have they
on.
not been on it this entire time?
They were on it, but then were removed due to a pair of Corvettes coming through, and then have only now just stepped onto it again, securing their second cap.
You can see here,
OSP is behind on the cap score right now, and while they can get the B point here, let's just talk about the 5 CLs that are perfectly healthy. Potato Master a little bit hesitant to move anywhere, but this is because they're still
they're
continuing to
trying
clean
lock
up
down
various
B.
ruddles.
Yep.
Star breaks off here a little bit, instead going after the Acellos, which
Right.
now just,
Pivoting-
again, rock in a hard place.
Pivoting
They
fire
are
to support,
peppered from all angles.
Pivoting fire to support Pyrope, I would assume, as Pyrope is getting rushed down by the entirety of OSP's frontline here. You can see here Potato is already beginning to do the jam and flank upward to support the frontline engagement here, as it looks like the decisive frontline engagement is going to develop around C right now, although it is very much in the advantage of ANS right now just due to their positioning. Boxer is going to go down, as Mulgan is going to secure the kill against that beamstone on Boxer. Although with Star's CLs in relatively close range, I have a feeling that ANS is going to have no problem retaking that point.
Pyrope having a rough go here as she's beset by all sides. Acellos rolling over this area, knowing it's only a single Axford. They get it in the broadsides. 250 liners as well, showing their DPS. broadside of an Axford is quite vulnerable to 250. You just have to get into range. So
Right.
Pyrup's going to try and buy all the time she can here for Star to commit. We see Star now just trying to take every favored fight they can. They do engage the wounded Acello here, which doesn't really isolate it down, but Surizel's second Acello, the immortal part, is going to suffer in the broadside flank. Triple CL DPS committing now.
Boxer denial attempt here by Secret Mink sends a gun capper against the Ruddle. The Ruddle sends out another rocket strike down to 30 left. You'll see if it's able to land any hits on Mink here.
Down to 11, that's 30%. Minor misread, but don't worry about it.
Whatever. It has rockets left.
They've got a shot.
The big takeaway is it has rockets left.
Yep. Oop, Acello killer's coming out here from Potato Master. 1, 2, 3 do I see. These Acellos have been degraded over the course of this game. We'll see how good their point defense is and how good they are now that they've split.
They're from
a lot of jamming going out here.
Of an off angle here. These Acellos are not bound on. They're going to find the broadside, but that's still going to be a relatively decent amount of damage here. As you can see here, Star is now collapsing onto E, trying to assist with the E deny here. Secret Mink under fire from the 250 liner from Trojan, doing their best to stay alive. Rocket Strike now out as this capper is it going to be able to dodge?
Briefly going to watch. Let's see it. There we go.
Yeah,
Here comes
wow.
the strike.
That is 3 cellos
1,
dodged.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tech B impacts on the broadside, gutting that Acello.
They are not able to dodge that as their entire center stack is gone. As Potato Master is probably going to have no trouble finishing off these Acellos up top. Assuming that they probably have another Acello killer salvo, they can just throw another one out.
Yeah.
Star now
Killjoy deployed, but not enough. Yeah, both. Yeah.
Yep. Star now
both
collapsing
Acello pairs
on
just falling
Boxer,
apart right now.
Trying to secure the point here. Surizel is bow on to Star right now. As Star refocuses
Star takes
onto
the fight with the
Trojan.
250 liner, knowing they can remove its firepower faster than the Acello. That HE shot is going a little bit wide here, but should start seeing this add up very quickly.
Star did swap fire briefly to the capper on Boxer, opened it up quite nicely for Secret Mink. All Secret Mink has to do is preserve that ship until the 250 liner is disabled, and they can just pivot themselves onto the point. Although Star sitting broadside at close range to one of these Acellos here is going to lose mark the time here as it starts taking devastating 450 HE fire.
We talked before about 450 and these Acello CL matchups. The CLs are very fragile to 450 fire when it lands, so if you get within close range like this, you will suffer. Here we see Proven Factor gets lit up for a brief second. First salvo misses, but second salvo should be on target. They are winning against that liner very handily, but at the same time, this is a lot of fire that Star is going to experience here. Real quick, seeing that
right
center stack
now
going down.
is fuel line firing. That Axford taking significant damage. It's still... Is it theoretically possible to chain restore this? To some degree, yes, it is.
Chain, yes.
Yep, 2 large
and it
DCs.
can live.
2 large DCs with all their restores still. Doesn't mean that it can get back up.
Trojan Shadow effectively combat incapable over on
and
that B
Mink
point
is
side.
just going to pivot the ship onto the Boxer point right there to take advantage of the disabled ship.
Yep.
Potato Master
comes
still
seaside.
perfectly
Yep.
healthy, is winning the engagement, I would say, against this Acello. Has knocked out its magazine multiple times. And now the rail support. Pyrope's Railstone is still alive right now. Getting nice supporting fire.
This thing did not
for
hear
the
no
front
bell
line.
and is firing once again into the aft section of this Acello as it tries to get bow on. That's going to be more crits added up here. I think the 4 Acello Gambit for the front line was not it here, as we saw them get stuck in high orbit. The 5th Acello with the rails could have been the tech, but just all of this frontline heavy cruiser proceeded to, well, I suppose command cruise is the technical term, but
now Star
they got
is
4 Acello high.
Star finds the broadside on Surazal's Acello here at Boxer. 2 CLs.
Triple CL splits,
managed
fires,
to find the
and
broadside. As that damage is going to add up really quickly, you can see the reactor section and the center stack is already taking massive hits there. As, Potato Master does take some heavy damage to one of their CLs here, as its mag does go down. The other one is still active, getting some nice broadside hits into that CC at C. It begins to pivot over to the healthy one. Although...
tries to get its guns on target, having a bit of a time as it has to rotate. 250 DPS is nothing to scoff at. They are continuing to pepper this center stack area. If they snipe that mag again with a lucky hit or get a power snipe, then that's going to be that.
It is double mag.
Double mag, but the top mag is knocked out on those, so just the reinforced on this case.
Does manage to retake A here. We'll see if they're able to hold it.
Looking at the cap situation, CL's kind of spending themselves at this stage, but also trading against OSP's limited ship count right now. Pyrope is continuing to chain restore, now looking to get back in the game. Guns are coming up, and the reinforced mag as well. This Axford did not hear no bell and will commit onto the C point in a moment or two.
Yep.
These guns are 60% of the way back up, as well as the magazine is now online. This thing has somehow Lego bricked itself back together after being shot by 4 or 5 frontline vessels. That is insanity.
Like I said, say what you will about Pyrope, she builds really, really survivable hulls. As it looks like Star is going to win the fight against this Acello at Boxer. The flanking shot just guts this thing's CIC. It's mags down. Yeah, they're going to be able to win the fight, as it looks like Star is splitting their CLs back to Dagger probably to hold the point here, as Secret Mink is going to have no problem holding Boxer with their gun camper here.
Decapper clean up on both those capitals.
Restore somewhat of their ship here. Is trying to chain restore with the storage here. You will get the storage back online and we'll be able to bring another gun back up, although I doubt it's going to have the damage output it needs to really retake Boxer.
More importantly, that liner is structure broken and continuing to be peppered by the 100 mil guns here, which actually has enough to chip at this.
The 100 mil is likely going to keep it disabled.
Mag's been redded on that, at least.
Potato electing to spend an Acello killer against this, is it even armed?
Monitor does,
CA
I believe, have
Monitor.
a chat box with arming missile. Pyrope with the I live by the way
by
quote
the
right
way,
there.
As Pyrope with an Axford that looks like it didn't really take much damage at all, recommits onto C here and begins getting, it has the broadside of that Acello with 450 HE. Pyrope back in the fight. This is the second time this tournament Pyrope has done this, as they are just, they are back in the game right now.
Do you have any ibuprofen moment, as she may have a headache, but she's committing into the C fight? OSP has fallen to shambles. What do they even have left on the board? These wounded Acellos are being dismantled as we speak.
They have the rail Cello, which is currently diving A, probably to hold it, as well as, I'm gonna be real, one-liner. That's all OSP has right now. And as you can see,
GG call there
Collapse
from
the
OSP.
Electron is calling this as the CLs carry ANS to victory here, winning those decisive gunfights in the end game with those Acellos after they were forced to split. Collapse the Electron, I think, just spending way too much time in orbit, allowed the CLs from ANS to develop along the flanks, and once the Acellos managed to get back into combat, there were so many flanks just waiting to chew them up.
Taking a look at the ANS side here, very good damage dealt by these Acellos. Also some good work done from the cap fleet. The beam destroyer, the Brackling, was able to get a very good latch onto one Acello, depriving the OSP of a 1,500 point asset. The missile tech frigate here, 500 points to this thing for a sneaky little flanker. That got some very good work done throughout the game, just being able to be there and present. And I believe it was the device that sniped out the rails. Star gets some respectable gunfight done towards the end.
Yeah.
OSP side, in turn, couple Rebels do find some interesting purchase, but
With
for
this
the investment in their front line, they did not have it.
CLs, they really didn't do much. As ANS still
One
had,
250 liner pulls it off.
what was that, 5 relatively fully functional CLs at the end there. Some of them are a bit beat up, but that is way more than OSP had in terms of capabilities to deal with. And with no cappers left on the board, ANS could just secure the points there.
Yeah. OSP commits to that, 6,000 point Acello frontline, and it kind of goes to show why the Acello is not the go-to ship on the OSP side. Very good tech device, love to have it supporting a monitor ball or helping out with the front line, but committing on them like that, we saw they were very vulnerable from the flanks as Star pokes out at one point, gets an attack off. We see the Acellos forced to then split up, and then the tech of the Acello killer backpack missiles from Potato Master just eviscerates one of them.
I feel like the last 2 matches are a demonstration of what to do and what not to do when you have frontline supremacy. We saw in the first one, Collapse the Electron was just able to use that frontline supremacy to get a very nasty flank off there. They positioned their frontline really well to take full advantage of their ability to be in 2 places at the same time. Whereas that second one there, they balled all up in the middle, and despite having 9k worth of frontline, if you include the rail, cello, and the liners, they just were held off by a single Axford. that entire time.
Pretty well,
because
yeah.
they were
That's
unable to
8,000
gain-
points of beef that did not commit to it. The 250 liners were meant to be dispersed in hunting down capper assets and such, but
with the
for the sledgehammer they
abandonments-
had, they never
Yeah.
swung.
The abandonment of the flank forces Trojan to just continuously cede ground to the CLs in the liners. They were just unable to do their job of denying points from the light assets because the CLs were just able to freely move around the map due to the Acellos being in orbit there. There's a little bit of a moment there where the Acellos just failed to commit onto either one of the CL fleets that
the uncertainty
ANS
due to
brought.
potentials of beam punishment, which did end up happening, but
Right.
still
Very
ANS
excellent play.
playing their heart out.
Secret Mink repositioned that beamstone excellently there, was just able to get that immediate pick on one of the Acellos there. That was a very devastating loss from OSP.
Anyways, we're going to go on to game 3, so stay tuned for that. We'll be doing intermission.
All right, we're going to have another upset here in terms of the points as ANS wins that. 31% of people thought that ANS would win that in my polls. Points are awarded for the ANS victory there as the teams are going to swap up here. I'm going to go ahead and run ads real quickly here as it is up
VOD
to...
exclusive content coming up. Here we
Well,
go.
that's the Electron will be choosing the next map we play on to end
All right.
this 3-game match here.
Yeah. Love seeing the display of the heavy cruisers and like how the difference between the Axford and the Acello comes out there. The Acello very good defensively with its enabling tools, parallax, floodlights, services, auroras, the CR75, all those really good tools for OSP side, but it is not the hammer that is the Axford in its Greedford loadout.
I think the strat there from the Master Cello Ball was to discourage Acello killers. ANS has gotten really reliant on using those really expensive hybrids to deal with Acellos. But there's other ways to deal with Acellos, as we saw there. That devastating CL flank was just able to tear them apart at close range, and
strong from one angle, much like the CL is, but the Acello kind of in the heavier caliber, they did not have the mobility they wanted to really like capitalize on the lack of ANS frontline. They tried to push up, but then got hesitant because of the potential beamstones.
The
Also, to the credit of Pyro just refusing to die, going to ground there, putting her Axford back together, and then coming out and saying, "Hey guys, I lived. What's happening?" on the C point.
Note says the Acellos should have won that one. Yes, on paper, the team comp that Electron brought should have prevailed against the one that ANS brought there, but you can see that's kind of a demonstration of what happens when one team misplays and the other team identifies that misplay and is able to capitalize off of it. I feel like a lot of that was ANS being just able to expertly capitalize off of the OSP's mispositioning there of the Acellos.
Yeah. Those Acellos were not particularly threatening any point of the time. As we saw when they go down that center line, it does enable them to dislodge the A-guard beamstones that we see very commonly placed on those rocks.
Right.
But
which
in
it was
turn,
able to
after
do.
securing the 3-cap, they just didn't really defend their backline.
Gold Rush looks like it's being selected as we move on to the map for the last one here. A lot of that, I feel like a lot of that was also the Acellos concentrated themselves on C point and didn't take C point until like 10 minutes before the game ended, despite being on the point for like 10 minutes prior. The one half-dead gun capper just contesting the point. It took Trojan pivoting one of their 250 liners up to dislodge it.
It's at that stage where, if we think about the initial push they done, right? They moved up to that midpoint, they cleared the A-cap, secured it. With a 3-cap situation and defensive assets like the 250 liners, that's enough to slow down any light capper asset and force those Voxels onto their points. The Acellos absolutely could have given ground and then, say, pivoted over to engage Star, see them off, or swung the other way and tried to poke Potato Master a bit, just reinforcing with their 250 liners as flankers. Right. Instead, they picked a fight against an Axford and then just neglected to proceed onto a point, putting themselves in a spot where they got collapsed on and flanked, contesting essentially nothing for the later part of the game.
Trying to frontline max on Yukon always feels like gambling. Yeah, it can. Due to the massive wall and the close firing lines on Yukon, it tends to be a much more dynamic map in terms of the actual plays that teams did. CLs and other really fast flanking assets do very excellently on Yukon, which is why it's one of my favorite maps. The front line.
We saw Ruddles get a bit of knife fighting in there as well, just being able to engage on weird close quarters angles from different corners.
They just didn't really have the battle impact, though. Enough of them got killed really before they were able to do anything that there was just not enough rockets to really dislodge what ANS had. They did get the nice kill on Boxer there, but didn't really have the battle impact I think they were hoping for. Anyway, ads are over. Welcome back. Team Collapse the Electron chooses Gold Rush as the match to end this series of games on, as they go back to ANS as Maintenance is a Birch goes to OSP. We will see what is played here. Looks like the teams are just figuring out their starting lineups here. Ambient Lamp,
a little bit deciding going on.
Ambient Lamp swapping back in, replacing Mulgan on Collapse the Electron. Still waiting on that.
Vren also
player.
taking in for Maintenance as a Birch there.
Yep, still waiting on that fourth player on OSP there. We will see who ends up jumping in.
So yeah,
looks like it's
going to be Misk hopping in. All right. Just overall, very interesting gameplay there, showing that, like, feigning a lot of strength where OSP in the last game definitely could have pushed and rolled them over. They might have taken a loss at the Beam Destroyer, but they could have very easily killed that Beam Destroyer in turn had they got the correct rotation or been supported by flanking aspects, some shuttles with rockets, or even the 250 liner. They just were a little too hesitant. They got the first step, secured A, and then pretty much went nowhere the rest of the game and got punished for it.
Right. They had a really good start, was able to zone out Star there early on the D flank.
Absolutely. We saw how much fire came his way, and he went to ground like just nothing.
They just were unable to capitalize on that initial thing there. I have a feeling, I think Notes made the call out after the game was over that the Acello should have committed onto Star there early on. Possibly that might have been a way to try and win, but you have to remember that Stars and CLs can outspeed those Acellos. And also,
additionally, that's pushing towards the was it the BD side of the map, which is
been out of position, which would have led both Pyrope and also Potato Master to have a much more free opening of the other points. It was kind of just honestly, what they should have done is they should have split their forces there, send 2 Acellos to deal with Star and then the other to capture C. But unfortunately, they just sat there in the open in orbit too long, and
Acello Ball, definitely strong for that, but with the split off, once you identify triple CL, you know Acello pair can put your nose onto that. They basically can't hurt you unless they get within super close quarters combat, which if you just maintain your range well, you don't allow. They didn't really interact with the rest of their team as they should have. The Rail Acello never really got a chance to help them out that much. He got a couple shots here and there, but did not see it crippling the nose of a Capital anytime that game. Additionally, the 250 liners had to just play runaway and hope that their team would relieve them, but instead the front line just remained committed to that ball on top of the map, and the game went to ANS with mobility.
We should also consider why Notes thinks that the Acello should have won, is because I did notice that Notes bet a ton of channel points on OSP winning that last one. And, whoops. Speaking of, the betting is now on for this one as we are waiting for the teams to ready up.
This is best of 3 formats, so cast your votes now. This will be the final game for today as we get into the Gold Rush state. So, yeah.
Yep, it'll be the final one for today, and then I will likely go immediately to sleep so I can wake up on time for the one that happens early in the morning tomorrow. We'll see if I am able to ingest enough caffeine to be awake for that, or if I will sit here and be dead-eyed the entire time.
Awake, but at what cost indeed?
Awake, but at what cost? I'm literally, because I have a stream scheduled for tomorrow as well, like a regular one. So I'm gonna because the latest, I normally start my streams at noon, right, at 12. Due to the if it goes to 3 rounds, like the latest that I'll be there will probably be like 10:30. So I'm planning on just casting the games, taking a nap, and then getting back onto stream again.
Yep. Potentially on Catter Day, I've had some of the local cat girl population ask me to teach them bar, so I might try and do that, but I'm going to be real. Depending how those games go, it may not be very good.
You're going to be streaming bar. I'm going to be streaming the thing that everyone's
I'm not sure if I'll be able to stream with a 9 a.m. start.
It looks like the vote's going to go to Ultra Kill for me to play tomorrow.
Ooh, good choice.
Oh, jeez. We'll see if I'm able to get... I mean, like, I play AC6, right? It has a lot of the dodge and parry timing that Armored Core does. I say
All right,
coping.
Dramus saying 60-second timer, telling people to get a move on. They've had their intermission, they've had their tech time, and their fleet editage.
Everyone needs to go to the bathroom, apparently. Anyway,
Yep.
round 3 starting. Recording is on.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Oh, ambient lamp with a false start there as they
Ah, jeez.
briefly... It's going to be a...
Oh, Surazal forgets to swap fleet colors.
Yep.
Pyrope's still sticking with the ruby representation.
Yep. All right. So, yeah.
All right.
All right, close up the gambling then. Let's see what we get.
Yeah. All right. Most people believe that OSP is going to win this one, 20 to 80.
Mhm.
We will see if that proves to be correct.
Who won round 2? That would be Maintenance is a Birch with some very good CL play.
Yep. It's now 1-1 as we move into round 3. Whoever wins this one takes it.
Yep.
L1 is such a funny term I'm seeing from notes in chat.
We'll see.
All right.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the NEBVEMBER tournament. We are watching Collapse the Electron square off against Maintenance as a Birch. This is their third in the best of 3 for, I believe this was match 5 of the tournament here, squaring off in the winner's bracket.
The Swiss cheese method of tournament bracket means that some of these matches will be a bit out of order. Don't worry, it'll work out in the end.
Yep. Anyways, we are your casting hosts, Nekoboy Blue, and I am joined by...
Escape GT. Hello, everyone.
All right, so reading out the teams here, Collapse the Electron currently consists of Trojan Shadow, Ambient Lamp, Surazal, and Pazuzu.
Team 2 is Maintenance as a Birch, taking the OSP side here. We have Misk, Vren, Pyrope, and Secret Mink.
All right, so some of you might have seen Gold Rush as the starter of these games before. We are into the second rounds of the tournament, so now we started on Blood Moon, and Gold Rush was chosen as the third map after these teams squared off in their first 2 games. Taking a look at ANS side, I'm seeing a battleship pair deploying towards the top. We've seen this work very well before
that's
holding ground.
CTE 11. Correct me if I'm wrong with this. Might be the same starting tech they did in their previous match against, who was it? It was 5 Girls, 1 Grungler. Worked really well for them. We will see if they're able to repeat that success.
Seeing a Levy deployed in the middle there. Levy typically deployed a bit more towards the right side. We see it now shuffling around, trying to find that spot. Same time, though, predictable location leads you open to fishing with missiles.
Single Levy makes me think ASF protection here. We'll see if that's actually true. Taking a look
Healthy
at...
hull count, looking at all these Corvettes and beam destroyers, might be a Levy half cap.
Could be a Levy half cap. It could be Levy plus a bunch of beamstones supporting a dedicated cap fleet. I've seen that type of fleet comp before. All in all, 2 battleships, Levy, a bunch of beamstones here. I think I understand ANS's strat here. On the Protectorate side here, I'm
seeing a couple liners. The Pyrope liner, the Queen Pomegranate with its escorts. I believe those are Grazer shuttles.
Queen
Additionally,
Pomegranate
that's
is the 450 with Mass Driver one, I believe.
It might be. There's another liner accompanying that. We'll see what that ends up being. 2 of them up top. Could
Also a
be 3
Monitor
total.
Ball. It looks like Birch
I
is
want to
going
say
with
that that is
frontline
the
tactics here.
variant of the starter. I believe that's Garnet Squadron, so we're going to do the drop. You want ANS or OSP for the quick reads?
You took ANS last time, I believe, correct?
All right.
So I'll take them
You want to tell me what these
now.
battleships are that we see on the drop then?
Yep. Well, we're going to instantly know if this is the same strat that this team used in the previous round. Based on the battleship builds, we shall see. All right, starting out, Ambient Lamp with the cap fleet here. It is the quad beamstone cap fleet. 1, 2, 3, 4 beamstones spread across the map here. Accompanying that is, looks like 2 cringe cappers and 4 gun vets, removing the defender from the gun vets for the points that they need. Pazuzu up top with the battleship here. This one has a VLS 200 backpack. Lots of SDMs in there, some killjoys as well, and active decoys. Supporting the BB is a beam destroyer as well. Looks like that one's heading towards C. Surazal. Yep, this is the same tactic that, or at least the same BB tactic that Collapse the Electron used in the first round here, as Surazal brings in the double beamstone plus battleship tactic here, giving them some nice beamstone cover on the flank, as well as having a battleship up top. And Trojan Shadow, ooh, this is not just ASF, this is Trojan Shadow's carrier half-cap fleet here. Very, very
10
devastating
bombers in
fleet.
that already.
Yep, this is a very, very powerful fleet that Trojan has played a lot. We will see how good it is in this game here. All right.
Ooh, gonna see a little bit of tech here on the bombers. Just took a look. A blade of foam on these. This means that they will not be one-shot by the very popular SDM2. So might see those get some very good piercing through enemy defenses. OSP side, I'm going to read off now, starting with miscellaneous up top. 450 broadside liner, the Rose Garden here. This thing, it looks built up double drive style. Very nice here. All right. You can see these deployed up top. Yep, pair of them. Pretty standard stuff. They've got a very wide fleet. Bloodhound Tug makes sense. Already has a lock on one of the battleships over there. That's going to be the Wharf Jumpy from Pazuzu. We see this supported by T-20 and mine launchers on 2 of these shuttles. 2 other ones just purely naked, going as cheap as possible. Not even investing in the magazine on these. Interesting stuff there. Probably last second tech. These are
free. Not sure why we're not investing in that, but okay.
Yeah, this is Misk should know how to build these. That's a minor misplay on their part. The Queen Pomegranate liner from Pyrup comes out. Yep, we were correct. This is the Mass Driver 450 barrel liner. It's a bit quirky, but it can do some work, as basically no one expects that.
Missile backpack
Supporting it is going
as
to be
well.
Grazer shuttles.
Yep, missile backpack as well fires mixed salvos between S2s and containers with submunitions. A very, very interesting
Forgot to
tactic
mention
from
that.
Pyrup, but it is
I remember
very
this is a
volatile.
weird. Yeah.
It is
Triple
yeah.
plant control center. Lastly, supporting this is going to be the CIA monitor here. The Madame Lychee has an intel center, has a hangar for, I believe it's a skiff currently. Got that
With-
Bloodhound track correlators.
Internal radar advance gives some nice offset tracks for the liner.
Yep. So battleships immediately detected here, gonna tell them what is on the board. Secret Mink comes in with the support fleet again. They've got their light carrier, the Journeyman here. This has some strike fighters, the Arbiters coming out. They've got a couple of radar and Winard skiffs here for scout area detection and such. Supporting this, going to be a pair of monitors. These just here to keep Sprinter Ball kind of thing honest. C90s, T30s, and other stuff to win the cap war. These deployed in a pair, going to secure east side. Kind of like a liner across 2 hulls with more armor. Rounding out their fleet is going to be 2 Ruddles, one under the map, one going towards seaside, trying to dislodge
One of
a
them,
beam destroyer.
yeah, one of them's already flanking that beamstone there. We'll see if that is able to get purchase.
Finally, on Garnet Squadron, or whatever variant of it they have, is going to be Vren coming with the starter fleet push. Starters are good, folks. We see this monitor ball is primarily a checkbox in these comps to see if they can keep a, not shuttle ball, a sprinter ball from getting too much victory. A little bit of early game aggression on the A point here. Ruddles will boop the snoot of one of these cappers, but does not actually get a kill on it.
Bolt Squadron attempting to get kills, commits onto both of them and is unable to kill either, as 2 cringe cappers are now on A with no other ability to dislodge those. It looks like ANS is going to take A here.
One
early.
of these
Bolt
completely
Squadron now
no damage
rushing
control teams, so that's
down-
surprising.
One of them is rushing down Dropkick Squadron right now, although Trojan has a gun capper in the area to stop that from happening, as A point goes to ANS here.
Yep. Stinger Flight might catch Bolt here. They do have coil gun locked and loaded coming around the corner. This could be aggressive for them. Let's see if they get the flick or not. Now they're tasked on target. Should see them pop the shot any second.
The Ruddle is caught out
Or
here.
not.
The Ruddle caught out here as Bullfrog Squadron does manage to find it with torpedoes. The Ruddle does send a strike out on Trojan's gun capper there, although... Oh, the torpedoes almost
Torps
missed
will catch it there.
based
Gun
on the
capper
angle.
survives. Good swing there. Trojan Shadow just playing the half cap style here. They're aware of the capper assets, but also using their light strike ability there to see off small threats.
The
Stinger Flight,
bombers,
almost completely out of ammo, does clean up the fighters there on the front line.
The bombers that Trojan brings in that half-cap fleet are a very, very excellent tool. Just hanging around cap points, can both pull double duty in denying the point and also destroying those flanking Ruddles that OSB likes to bring.
Taking a look at the battleship here, Mass Driver doing some work. CR-75 Chen has already been removed from the top of the battleship here as triple liner flanks across the top of Gold Rush, going for a very unusual maneuver here. This allows Vren to move up pretty much uncontested, and while detected by the A-point cappers, they're going to clean that up really well and gain some ground here.
Right. There is a Ruddle under the map on A, although no gun cappers are really in position to take A if it's opened up. That being said, Ambient does have a beamstone overlooking A right now, which will likely get the deny if OSP commits.
Multiple beamstones there. Ambient has one, Ceresol another. Actually, Ambient, 2 beamstones in position already. Multiple others could rotate over as they please.
Some nice redundancy that ANS has brought in terms of their A-cap denial, as if one of them goes down, they still have a secondary one, potentially leading the Protectorate into a false sense of security if they do manage to get the kill on one.
Yeah.
Both sides now
The Pirate tech
developing,
here kind of paying off in a weird way. This Spyglass is quad track correlator. I believe the Mass Driver has enough damage to actually break the track correlators, provided it gets a hit. So
it should.
This weird 450 flank might pay off here as the battleships are forced to rotate their noses, potentially opening up for Vren to aggress on them.
Battleships are now pulling back here. If Maintenance's Birch isn't careful here, they might go the way of Electron last game, where they have their front line completely in orbit out of position. Although they do have Vren on the front lines here, with the monitors pushed up to a really aggressive point there. Meanwhile,
Vren's rotated their nose gun over and is thinking about getting the battleships, but taking a look at this, ANS has just pulled back to their side of the map. OSP has drawn their front line kind of across this like A marker line, gaining more ground. If they start their dive towards A point with a shuttle or such and provide enough Overwatch fire, they can probably take out these Overwatching destroyers, as their guard angles are not the greatest with how Vren's positioned themselves.
Possibly. We'll see if OSP capitalizes on that right now.
All right. Ambient Lamp attempts a rush here over onto the E side. We're going to see their capper gets found by this monitor pair from Secret Mink. Mink just going to clean that thing
tries
up
to pull
handily.
back. Yep, that's a nice grab for OSP. Depriving ANS of their light assets is always an advantageous spot to be in. As that thing, it turns on the afterburners and tries to flank out of there. A lot of hits into the drive there. Yep, and there goes the knockout.
Nope,
on the
drive snipe going down.
Once again, a sprinter moment as nothing but that drive is disabled. Meanwhile,
Large thruster moment.
Ambient Lamp.
All right, Vren gets some plasma out now. Ceresol caught as they rotate the nose correctly to face this incoming liner push. That's what you want to do with battleships, tank it on the nose all day. But at the same time, I think the battleships are maybe playing a little timid here, not engaging with any long-range fire.
Well,
they do have quad-track Spyglass,
they don't
but
necessarily need to. They hold the advantage. They don't need to sacrifice survivability on their front line right now. You can see here, though, ANS is taking precautions against this monitor ball. Most of the beamstones that are on this center rock and on ANS's side are already repositioning to try and maybe deny a monitor push here. Ceresol moves CTE-23 into position, as well as cross-gem from Ambient Lamp here.
AP rounds being fired off here, unless I'm mistaken. Potentially trying to go for a punch-out on some components. That's an interesting choice.
Overpitting. One of the drives does go down here. Beams out from Pazuzu. Firing at who knows what. There's nothing there. Could have been a fighter squadron, maybe?
Void Fairies, potential. If I had to guess, maybe they did a fire or on position order and then set it to hold. I've done that trick before. Yeah.
Huh.
All right.
Well, if OSP was looking at C, they now know where that beamstone is.
Yeah. I think that this is an interesting situation to find right now, because currently both battleships have taken to ground a little bit. They've given range so that Vren is not within plasming distance of them. At the same time, though, these liners are slowly developing this left side of the map. We're going to see a couple missiles fire off here as Highball Squadron gets engaged. We're going to see Photon Flight trying some long-range SDM-2.
Snipe one of them. Two of them looks like they're seduced by chaff as Highball gets out of there with only one loss. That was all of the STM-200s in Photon, I believe, as they, looks like they're RTBing. No, they're not RTBing. They're flanking back to the battleships. That might have been the battleship's air cover trying to do a little bit of aggressive push there, or it could just be sitting.
Essentially, one battleship does not have backpack, for what it's worth. So there are more SDM-2s coming out now in Photon.
They're CMD STM-200s flying into the range of the battleship's comms jammer. The other ones, though, are Act Wake, which do manage to snag. I bet that was the ASF for the beamstones there, preventing flank from Ruddles.
Could have been.
And rocket strikes. Fury now.
Combat indicator bugs out a little bit, but we're going to see this airball. Very interesting air war as both sides commit to a bit of standoff play there. Neither one wants to commit, knowing that there is a lot at stake here. Whoever gets the advantage in the skies is then able to remove a lot of these lighter assets later on.
Pazuzu pushes up with their battleship here as Ceresol pulls back. The monitors
Plasma actually catching Pazuzu.
C point being
This is-
taken by OSP. C point being taken by OSP as their ship manages to find that little area, that little cavity there.
Oh no, there's
where
the fire
it's-
on position from Pazuzu
Uh-oh.
as they let loose that they have not given the updated order as they do not see miscellaneous at this moment. There's a little spot here we've seen before that you can hide a
no
shuttle.
track on OSP's capper here, as it excellently hides in the little gap here,
And
deploying
it's dropping
mines.
sprint mines.
Uh-oh. This could
That's gonna be quite dangerous
This could potentially
as-
be big for for OSP here. If they're able to take the point, they are pretty well developed to hold. Although Vren is pushing in the monitors.
Vren gets a good jump here on Pazuzu, who is experiencing the better part of frontline fire. Track correlator starting to go down means that they won't be able to effectively engage these liners coming
Not
over.
at long range.
Miss
Although
committing to it, sending that rain.
Vren has to be careful here. There are multiple beamstones along this rock that would love to poke out and just beam these monitors. You can see it looks like CTE-23 has its thrusters on, is probably repositioning to do just that. Meanwhile, over the top, Misk and Pyro. just
Bomber run
continue.
coming towards them. Firestorm from Trojan Shadow sees Vren over here, thinks they might have an opportunity. Fighter support is nowhere to be seen.
These are CMD Hodge. I believe this monitor ball should have a comms jammer on them.
Quick
yes,
check.
comms jammer active from the monitors. We will see
Warbler
if
up.
this
Let's
is
see if the
enough.
Hodge goes through or not.
The Hodge... No, the comms jammer's not firing anymore.
Comms jammer. Oh, probably a fire order issue there. I've done this before. We hit Warbler and then
As-
issue MCON.
Yeah, the torpedoes split between the monitors, dear, degrading all of them. That is not good for Vren there, as they are suddenly in a world of hurt. Although, that being said,
Beam as
Pyro-
well going to open up. Vren just getting removed from the game all of a sudden as ANS
Yep.
punishes this open sky
the
push.
monitor ball... Fascinating monitor ball push here into ANS here as, all the beamstones push out here. Not sure what Vren was thinking of doing there. They should have known that ANS
think
had
Vren had
beamstones in
a-
position, as that is a
They had an
really-
idea, but
That is...
did not.
Yeah, that is OSP's most developed frontline fleet just going to get annihilated here in a very
Three
unfortunate situation
beamstones
for them.
quickly punishing
Yeah.
this aggression.
Yeah,
This is why
there's
you
a
do
lot
not
of
want to
beams.
rush.
Do not end like that, especially if you have cap advantage. They could have just held back behind that rock there. Although, that being said, OSP's now stepping onto A.
OSP gets the cap
Beams
here.
are going to be
We
busy dealing with the monitors.
This is a little questionable from Vren's perspective, as this push here was unnecessary. They had the cap asset to move on to 8 point. The monitors could have held back, waited for these beamstones to present through the little A hole here, and then shot the shit out of them with their 100 mil guns. Instead, they int forwards, getting punished by battleship, beams, and torpedoes.
Meanwhile,
That's going
on
to
the
put
C
OSP
point,
down 3K.
ANS commits 2 cappers onto the C point. One of them gets annihilated by the mines, but the other one successfully steps onto the point. It's going to step onto the point. It is completely undetected in doing so, although...
Oop,
missiles
Pyrope
out
sends
from
secondary
Pyrope.
missiles
These
towards
ones are out
the
on
destroyer. Oh no.
Destroyer, yeah, but it looks like they're going to rock PD, unfortunately, here, as Pyrope mistimes the strike. These are CMD direct. Should not have the maneuverability to dodge them. No, they don't. A point will
Where's the Pyrope liner? Should still have more of those to potentially see off that
A
capper.
point's gonna go into the hands of OSP here, although they will lose C in the process here. And
Triple beam on that
the beams do
singular
pop up
monitor.
to deal with the
just
monitors,
boom.
although they are being engaged now by the front line as they are all now detected. Meanwhile, Trojan and Ambient both send cappers back onto A to retake the point. We had a massive trade of several ships here from both sides, flipping a couple points in really rapid succession there. Trojan now under fire on C. The Beamstone is still alive on the point. Will likely get beams out on Misk, who is pushing low to probably try and get some gunfire support. Missiles are not going to arrive in time as ANS retakes the C point here. The Beamstone is now
Size 2 is going to potentially impact here. That's going to cause a detonation of or fuel line fire, correction.
Beam now commits
Listen, chat, they're
onto-
saying even added UI to stop that from happening. I'm assuming that's referring to the MCON and Warbler and such, but
Right.
not certain on that. Hitman flight over towards the east side of the map is getting engaged by the monitors right now. Grape Shot trying to poke away at this. No rock PD. Ah, interesting. All right. Yeah, right.
Yep,
the
there's now
point
lead,
defense,
there's
you can set
lead
those to manual.
indicators. There's lead indicators now for missiles too, which is the big thing there. Pyrope should have known that was going to
right.
PD.
Yes.
The capper, OSP's ANS's capper on C will likely reactor det here. Missed
ACAP
though.
going through his...
Yep.
ANS steps onto A with
Trojan
2
and
cappers,
Ambient
and there's
two
nothing to
cappers.
punish them
Without
right
those
now.
monitors there's really nothing that OSP can do to deny that,
Yeah.
although OSP is repositioning for a potential recap of C right now.
Yep. OSP is finding themselves in a bad spot right now. Like we saw in the previous game for OSP on Yukon, a lot of their frontline assets are currently high on the map, not really threatening a point right now. ACAP detonation goes through, which will not be quite in range judging by the auras of this. They might scorch these a little bit. Let's take a look. Yep, strips the armor of the Corvettes, but that doesn't mean much.
Minor damage, not really going to be too big of a deal there. It looks like Butcher and Dragoon here over top from Trojan are hunting down the camper that initially took A. They do find it. They do have it detected. They're likely going to try and kill that so it doesn't enact a back cap once the cappers leave. STM.
Yep. These bombers very low on fuel, but they do get the launch. Here's the decoy, and then the 2 torpedoes on target. CMD Hodge gonna find this empty capper.
Fuel to hit. Yep, as
Bye-bye.
Miss loses a potential back cap tool there to retake A. Meanwhile, Secret Mink now dealing with one of the Axfords, trying to push into Eclipse here.
Battleships,
sorry,
yeah, on the left there.
Battleship is broadside, which
Happens to
means
us.
those Hesh will bite. One of the mag is already
Hesh will
knocked
bite,
out.
but 2 monitor
Two monitors is probably not going to be enough to win that fight there. OSP
backup
needs
magazine
to
on
start
this is
moving
going to
their
be enough
front
for the
line back
moment.
into position here to start enacting some pushes onto points. C point, it looks like, is being developed here for OSP.
Yeah.
Misk is standing by to
OSP
retake
needs
it
to
once
get
that
on this
beam
cap
goes down.
soon.
Yep. They did hold the cap advantage for a little bit, which does bring their points up a bit high, or higher than it normally would be if they weren't able to do that. But however, at the moment, nothing's stopping that BB from just taking E. C is going to be taken by OSP soon here, now that that beamstone is down. And it is up to Misk and Pyro to now pivot their front line around and try to dislodge a lot of the ships that Alliance has guarding the caps that they have.
Other difficulty here is that these liners, while they are good against a lot of the softer ANS assets, for example, when they get beyond this kilometer range in a flank, they can easily destroy these destroyers. They don't really have much in the bank anymore to deal with these battleships once they get bow on. They need a crossfire from multiple ships to do that. And as we see here, the CTE-11 from Surzel, it's just enjoying itself, squaring off against these monitors. Neither of them really able to win this fight, and they're just going to bully their way onto
The
E
monitors,
point with
yep, the
pretty much nothing to
monitors
stop
do
them.
not have enough gunfire to stop this battleship from pushing onto the point. That is likely going to be an ECAP lost from from OSP here. OSP needs to start committing onto points here. Looks like they're starting to commit onto A here. Pyrup is sending one of their point defense escorts for their liner onto point, although you can see...
Pyrup does get a crossfire shot into Surazol from the very long range there. That's going to
add
pretty
up.
much max weapon range. 10 kilometers, yeah.
The shells
So
are hitting. The battleship not maneuvering a lot means that a lot of those shells are going to bite. We will see if it's going to be enough. Beam attempt out to try and deny A, although Pyro manages to go dark on the A point
beam
here.
below the map will pick off one of Mink's rocket shuttles that was on approach there. Surazol spots that, I believe, thanks to Trojan Shadow with a sundial below the map.
Could have also
Goes to
been
show the power of these
Ambient's-
awareness assets.
Could have also been... No, that doesn't have a radar in it. Ambient does have a cringe capper. Trojan has an actual capper in OSP's backline here. We'll see if that's going to be enough to retake
ANS
the point
has
here.
a lot of opportunities. Part of the... Okay, there's a minor CMD error on one of these ships. Pyrup has a Ithaca, I want to say, on this somewhere. Where's the... Where? Am I blind? Hold on a minute. My radar.
Sunder takes a kill against a fighter squadron there, although Cyclone immediately jumps on them. We will see...
Okay, I take it back. I forgot it's a Pyrup liner. It does not have a radar on it. That explains why command missed. Okay.
Probably relying on allied ships to get locks then, or probably more accurately the Bloodhound monitor that they have.
Could be the Bloodhound or maybe a Bridge Master on one of these. Oop.
Pyro
Razor shot.
was
Oh, that's a
going-
tiny angle from Ambient Lamp. Catches the
Knocks
shuttle
out
there on
the
the
drive,
A point
though,
for a
although
brief
it
second.
drifts back into cover. It is still on the A point if Pyro is able to kill that ship, which, yeah, she does, as A point is going to start being captured by OSP here. Trojan
Despite
still
their
has
losses-
a functional gun capper in the area. It's not on the point. It's starting to pivot back onto the point now. It's undetected.
Trojan might walk into range of Pyrope here. Pyrope does have secondary T-20 batteries and a mass driver that they can light up this Corvette with. Yeah, Corvette, wrong angle here, puts drive towards enemy, is just going to get shot in a second. thing is not detected, though, as there's a lack of radar coverage. Now it gets lit up briefly by, I want to say, the edge of the early warning.
You can
They
see
don't
here,
see this gun capper.
They do know it's there, considering that they're no longer securing the point. OSP needs to deal with that thing quick if they want to take the point here, considering that the thing they have on the point contesting it is severely injured. There goes the detection there. Although
Mink getting struck right now. Torpedoes will find the Journeyman and gut that thing.
As, that's going to be E going to ANS there.
All right.
Trojan now detected
ANS cleaning shop on the OSP side right now, as Mink's monitors are all but defanged. One of them going to detonate here in 30 seconds or so. Needs a scram if it was going to live.
They're also retaking C. Ambient Lamp committing one of their damaged beamstones onto the point here. This thing is not locked, which means that 450 at that range will likely miss a lot of the shots
450 AP as well was engaging the battleship.
Probably
does not have the correct ammo loaded.
By mistake, as C point is going to go back into the hands of ANS. A lot of
audio. Hang on a second. Audio skrunkle. One moment there. Sorry, folks.
At the end there. A point now being secured as Pyro does finally manage to combat disable the capper on the point. No, it gets its weapons back on pretty much immediately after.
Yep. Size 2 strike coming out here against the battleship. The Wharf Jumpy has its comms jammer on.
These are containers, though. Those have the containers in them, though. Ooh, OSP's capper on A goes down, which means that OSP no
There's the
longer
chaff
has
dump
ships.
trying to catch this. This is going to be a submunition bomb strike, I believe. We will see how this works. Oh, R2 is actually, for a bit of that, going to swing and a miss, unfortunately.
The BB, it does have the maneuverability to evade there, as, those missiles are going to whiff. Meanwhile, on C, Ambient does actually get close enough to miss to get a beam into it for a brief moment there. Manages to knock out the
Decap was attempted and finds sprint mines instead. The ship is technically able to live, but oh no, damage control priority issue. They have a mag detonation or cell cook-off going on, and they're going for repairing the drive instead. This may kill this ship since it is structure broken.
Right. ANS now with a 4 cap here. That's going to add up really quickly if the Protectorate team doesn't start getting on points really quickly here. It looks like Pazuzu is going to start flanking their battleship, just committing it onto the A point to hold it as long as possible. Meanwhile, E is pretty much a lost cause for OSP.
OSP's last ships are getting cleaned up now.
Yep. OSP.
All right, so taking a look at this, OSP,
ANS is just going to play the delaying game on the points, holding them for as long as possible while the Protectorate scrambles to try and get ships in position to retake here. The beamstone, one of the beamstones on C going down, the other one not combat capable, but OSP doesn't know that. They need to start pushing that point now if they want to cap it in time. Meanwhile, the BB
OSP's liners have been high in orbit this whole game, and while they had potential, they just... They kind of did a misplay there with Friend committing too early. They needed more flank attack there, pull the battleships out of position, force the destroyers to rebase, then let the monitors kind of poke out, engage, and allow an A-capper to step on the point.
The loss of Ren's monitors really early on is a really devastating loss for Protectorate here, as they just throw away an entire 3K fleet that would have been able to put a lot of pressure on A. A lot of those frivolous A-cap attempts that OSP attempted there late game probably would have gone through with the monitor support, but unfortunately, they just don't have the ships that they need to really retake ground right now. Misk is way out of position with the liners, unable to really put any pressure on C. Those are beamstones there. Misk is just not wanting to commit out of fear that those beamstones are still active. Pyro's been pushed back as Surazal's battleship, now committing off of the E point, begins pushing through the middle here. Pazuzu's just going to dive onto A with their battleship and just to hold it as long as possible. Meanwhile, Ambient Lamp has already done the same with one of their
pretty
beamstones.
Beat up here. Track correlators are down. Front gun is inactive. It is out of restores, but still has 14 teams. This thing will survive long enough, especially with a 4 cap, to secure this game for ANS. What is ANS really afraid of on OSP at this point? There is
nothing much.
3 liners, none of which will really get the crossfire they need to kill a battleship.
Maintenance is a Birch. Not learning from their enemy's mistake in the previous one, sends all their frontline high orbit without any ability to contest points, as the enemy is just free to develop these flanks. You can see that the battleship from Surazal just has nothing stopping it from moving across the map there.
I think this is twice now in this series we've seen a monitor ball commit a little too hard into the ANS and get hell punished for it. We saw it on the game 1 with Blood Moon, where I believe it was Star on, I want to say the same monitor ball, actually.
It's the same monitor ball, different player. Maintenance as a Birch needs to learn how to not int their monitor balls when they don't need them to, considering that at the time that Vryn lost their fleet, OSP had a pretty comfortable 3-cap and could have just held, even without holding A. You have to expect ANS to bring the massed beamstones on this map, which is what they ended up doing, and that monitor ball just gave them all of the flanks they wanted.
Wharf Jumpy takes 450 fire now. Some more missiles coming out from Miscellaneous here. They've got a container coming off the backstack here. That said, though, I don't see this making enough of a difference. They need to remove at least one of these battleships and then clean house against all these destroyers. Trojan Shadow's probably low on the munitions count. Yeah, very few of their bombers have torps still, but they're getting on target here.
Excellent battle impact. Ooh, they might deny C here. As that is
decoy
just
launchers paying dividends as those torps will find their way here. AMMs do not do anything against those. C-cap denial.
No other ships in the area for OSP to throw onto C to retake that. That's going to be GG. They needed a point, and they just lost their ability to do so. Pazuzu's going to go down likely on A in that battleship. Pyro getting a really nasty flank.
Actually might get hit by this container launch here. Bombs deployed, and
that's a bomb tainer,
no point defense?
No point defense up right now. Probably all disabled. Bombs are going to get eaten by the nose of that BB, though. Not really a whole lot of damage.
450 actually gets a good angle here. Hang on. Pyro potentially with the strike.
Although OSP waited a very long time for this push here. It may be too late for them. We'll see if they are able to retake points.
The score is very high right now for ANS. 820 with a 4-cap is going to add up quickly.
In order to have any hope at winning this, OSP needs to retake like a 4-cap really quickly, and they just do not have the hulls in position to do that. Even with this valiant re-push attempt from the liners now, getting really nasty hits into Pazuzu, I do not think that they have enough mass to really retake this one. Pazuzu is likely going to go down on A, but with only 1 cap regained right now, it's not really going to do all that much for them.
It's a good strike, but they do not have the ability for it right now. A cap starts up, puts their shuttle on point.
Gunslinger as well, sending into A. Ambient still has a beamstone guarding A as well. The beam is out of position, but it will be able to contest the point.
Hard to get a beam at this close angle. Maybe with the swing here. Miscellaneous going the wrong way. That beam is getting very close. This might be a point-blank beam with a drift. Let's see it fire.
Oh, it just overshoots by the looks of it.
Just overshoots.
As
ANS does have back cap set up, ambient lamp with a naked capper towards the D point. It's a little ways off, about all that 8-9 kilometers, but could rush for it. Rockets.
No,
never mind. Torpedoes from Malice.
Torpedoes out. Yep. You can see Trojan with the excellent bomber plays this entire game.
Yeah.
Every single time there's a key asset on a point that needs to be removed, Trojan already has bombers in the area ready to strike. And this is why I say
the half-cap fleet
that
style is fascinating.
Trojan's half-carrier fleet is legitimately terrifying to play against because they genuinely have so much experience with it that it's very difficult to get purchase against it. C-point finally going to OSP here as Misk does manage to get a liner onto the cap, although it is, let's be honest, way too late for it to really matter.
Yeah, 900 points on the scoreboard here. A-cap still in the hands of ANS.
All ANS needs to do is hold
command
a
strike
singular
attempted
point.
on the... never mind. The command jammer went on cooldown. That's why those swung around. I was wondering about that.
All ANS has to do now is hold a singular cap point, and they can win this, which is totally within their ability to do, considering their whole advantage. Misk is already flanking a ship to Boxer, desperately trying to retake points, although they flank their liner directly into one of ANS's still living beamstones. That is a very close range beam into the core of a liner. That thing is going to get gutted. Although Battle Short not on. Ambient does not flick on Battle Short, allowing the liner to get a 450 salvo into the nose.
That's going to punish them here as the guns open up. Beam, no damage control teams left on this is going to see the beam sniped out.
Yep. Perhaps only a rapid. No, that's a small. Wow, the team's dying likely on flank in the engines. That is a Raider drive. That is what happened.
Raider drive will cook you if you leave that on.
Liner will be able to get past that beamstone, although OSP needed a push like this 5 minutes ago. It's going to be... Yeah.
Too little, too late, too strung out.
Once again, OSP's doing a pretty good job of repushing now, but it is way too late for them to affect the outcome of this game. Beamstone from A as Ambient commits onto Pyro up there, as Beam's not doing a whole lot.
Beam goes a little wide, catching the aft section, takes out a thruster or two, but
nearly burns itself out there. That beam is unable to be D-shorted. It is very heavily damaged there. Pyro is just going to keep laying fire into these battleships here. actually doing a pretty good job of disabling these BBs. One of them already
The
mission
big
killed.
problem
The other one
here
severely
is that,
gutted, but yeah.
as we've seen before, ANS hulls, if they're not killed, these capitals, the battleships, and Axfords can Lego brick themselves back together, hear that little building noise, give them 5 minutes, they'll be back in the fight with orange turrets and
Not
such.
really. One of the BBs is already out of restores with no weapons left, and the other only has 2. Like these
To their
battleships.
credit, though, like these are still combat-capable vessels. For what it's
One
worth.
of them
Well, one
is
of them
not.
is actually this thing is way more damaged than I remember it being. Whoops.
Yep. For what it's worth, OSP did a good job of disabling those BBs, but
Yeah.
the loss of the monitor ball was genuinely.
Yeah.
As soon as
monitor
as
ball
soon as-
committed far
yeah,
too early
as soon as
and needed
OSP
to wait.
committed that monitor ball, I have a feeling that was the deciding moment there. Vrin throwing away an entire close range, very powerful 3K fleet for no gains there, as they're gonna lose Dagger for just add
Yep,
insult to
decap goes
injury.
through, as was said. All right, that is going to be victory, going to collapse the Electron. Maintenance as a Birch gave them a good showing, but could not make it happen here in round 3. Miscommitment of that pentabrick we talked about before. Just that is your sort of like sucker punch angle that you want to pull off once you get those liners in position, threatening all the various rocks that Beamstones hide under. Force the battleships to position their broadside to the monitor ball. Was committed far too early and pushed too quickly, and was horribly punished by a Beamstone heavy team.
Right. And without that close range frontline fleet holding the line while the rest of the frontline was in orbit trying to get flanks there, ANS was just able to capitalize off that, develop the entirety of the map without any contesting there. Able to step onto E with basically nothing stopping them. They were able to retake A after losing it briefly there. And even C, OSP struggled to maintain control of despite having so many liners on the point. The loss of the monitor
OSP
ball
backline was compromised there once the monitor ball went down. Battleship was free to rotate, and then you saw just how badly that was turned for the OSP.
The monitors probably just sensing blood in the water, seeing the BB at such close range, tried to commit onto it and just got eviscerated there. Unfortunate misplay from
Couple of good damage
OSP there.
numbers on the board here from various ships.
It was a longer game, kind of. Trojan absolutely just. Let's be real.
Trojan with 8 bombers pulls 42,000 damage here.
Yep. And you can see how powerful this carrier half-cap fleet is when you know how to play it. Those bombers doing absolutely insane work this entire game, basically removing the entirety of OSP supporting ships.
Yep. Same time, Secret Mink with their light strike style fleet. I love both factions here bringing kind of the carrier checkbox, couple of fighter craft and bombers here and there, just enough to make sure you've got some light strike, able to do a bit of work around the board. We saw the strike forces for OSP not really able to get the best hits. They wanted to find those destroyers vulnerable whenever they could, but ANS's carrier half cap, they kept them honest the entire game with good SDM2 play.
Right.
All right, I think that we go for the post game now, so we will hop over to the main NEB Discord. So join us there shortly, folks.
More damage than individual shells alone. Actually, this is more damage than... Okay, almost more damage than the 450s. The missiles from Pyro... Yeah, the first salvo that was launched into Pazuzu was soft-killed, but then I think once Pazuzu was successfully attritioned, then they actually connected, and you can see the damage that dealt there. Looking at the R2 Kudas, let me take a look.
All right, hello everyone, Twitch folks here. We're just coming in for the post game.
4,000 off the R2 Kudas. I don't think they managed to cycle that many, because I think they had to put up a bunch of ASF flights.
Yeah, I was putting up SDMs to try and get rid of those fighters, but I just kept losing any of the ones that went in for strikes. Every rocket strike ended up dying because there were Tantos nearby to convert it.
Yeah, what happened to your SDMs here? I'm looking at the spam ram command, and they were all soft-killed?
They were
you did
commands?
them at Claymores that were on an active radar skiff track from, like, quite literally max range, as I had 2 seconds of fuel left because I figured use them or lose them, and the Claymores went off radar.
There were also a couple moments there.
That's a soft kill and not a miss? Okay.
There were also a couple moments there.
That's a
the
soft
kill for the command. There was a
Soft
couple
kill would
moments
be
there when
jammed,
the
Oh no,
the
no, you were
SDM
firing
200s.
SDMs, command SDMs into your interrupt.
Yep, the fighters you were trying to engage were
there's an
too
interrupt.
close to one of the battleships.
Could have been they
Those-
entered
there's
interrupt
some
range from a
battleships-
battleship, and that
Yep.
counts as soft kill.
That's what it was.
There were some fighters near a battleship that heated the map, and it got soft killed.
Gotcha. Alright.
That was very funny to see. The fighters were just close enough to that battleship to be covered by the comms jammer.
Run diving A at that moment was highly unfortunate.
Well, they chose to dive immediately after getting the cap advantage, which was very fascinating to watch.
Well, wait, what? We didn't have
They
A.
didn't have cap advantage. They just had damage advantage.
Well,
Yeah, we
you
have damage
guys, well, no, at a moment there, you held E, D, and
No, I
C
died.
there.
No, we were losing C due to beam
We had
destroyers.
plans on the flanks. I think that was a team comms failure because we didn't emphasize that like stuff was happening and we didn't need to like desperately dive for points.
Probably, yeah.
I will say,
Definitely
just
stuff
to have it on the record, that was some of the most fun I've had playing Neb in months. That was great. GG.
There's definitely some
right.
advantage that
Thanks
was
for
being
giving us a
developed there by
really good
OSP, but it was just a little timing execution thing. Anyways, across those 3 game series, thank you both teams for playing. Fantastic show. Any comments you want to get in for the various games besides the one we just played?
No.
About that Acello heavy comp, I am desperately curious. What was the reasoning behind that one?
We thought there's gonna be a Solomon.
Oh, show.
Really?
So yeah, I'm just really happy I brought the real DD that game. Really, really happy.
We thought we brought ourselves to counter Stars Birch specifically.
You kind of... The second one was very much defined by the Acellos just not committing onto anything for a lot of the game there. They just kind of stayed in orbit and allowed ANS to develop the flanks with the 2 CL fleets that they had.
Our original game plan was to have basically a CL group on each fleet. Well, game plan would be exaggerating the level of planning that we did. We had like no planning, but almost no planning. But our game plan, so to speak, was to develop both flanks with the CLs and swing the CLs around, and depending on what we found, basically, in terms of enemy team comp.
Gotcha.
I got immensely lucky that game. I think I killed 3 or 4 Ruddles. 2 of them were directly next to my CLs and just didn't fire before I killed them.
We caught that on camera, you'll be pleased to know, Potato.
You did an
I was
excellent
like,
job of just...
you should have heard me going, oh fuck, oh no.
Yeah, there were several moments there where you just immediately flicked fired to one of the Ruddles that flanked on you and just eviscerated it before it had a chance to do anything.
I'm amazed well, other than that, I'm amazed I did decently.
There was-
I think I gave you rebounds, so you probably would have been safe for the
You
first
did, but it
few
was too
rockets.
close.
There was also a moment where you misidentified a track there as probably a Ruddle.
Yeah, I fired on, I think, a couple of escape pods. I thought they were like a liner or a Ruddle jumping.
Oh my god, Potato!
Shut up! Hey, shut up!
A perfect record of honor.
All right. Anything else for folks to add you want to get in the recordings?
Nothing huge, but like that was my first liner game in a long time, and I thought it was a good one.
Yeah, I like my Frankenstein liner. Pomegranate's fun to play.
It's funny
Yeah, it
that
did
those
work,
two
it did work.
Blood Moon games we've played, both
Yeah,
of them
Mash
we've been
Driver
just lost
also
to sleep select.
Right.
We were shocked you only had 4
GG's though,
DC
everyone. That
teams,
was-
Pyrope.
Yeah. So Pomegranate's made of paper, but she has like insane amounts of firepower. Cause I got like, I think it's 3 M elevators and a rapid cycle cradle, and then also 2 year eggs for the mash driver, plus like 4 T20s and like the missile backpack.
And a
So-
complete lack of radar, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, it has a
Yeah,
pinpoint.
that's what your team is for. That's what your team is for, obviously.
Exactly. Yeah, because
It's taken me 3 years, but I finally got Pyrope to go with at least half of the less cost, more guns philosophy.
so
What cost more
also
guns?
yeah, also Pomegranate. I run the entire liner off of a boosted reactor and 3 plant control centers, just so I can have all the buff modules ever.
The power grid of Texas.
Very
More than
Yeah.
the power grid of Texas. All the
Sabotage.
It's like made of paper, lots of DACA. Mash driver can like stand off to like basically punish like max range 450 duels if they have like a 4TC spyglass. So yeah. I need to figure out what to do about my S2s because they got soft killed quite a bit. I don't know
Best
how to
answer
modify.
is don't fire things with intact interrupt jammer, as you're hard to
As
kind of
simple
pen
as
through that,
that.
especially with the ST
Yeah,
strength.
I'm trying to figure out like what secondary seeker.
Hodge
You
is
mix
always a
them.
nice backup. Hodge and Saw, a mix of both is nice because it means that you have to do both Killjoy and Self-Illume to deal with that.
True. Okay.
All right. Well, I think we'll
That
probably
Levy?
wrap up the recordings
Okay.
there. Thank you both teams for playing. We should have another game in, let me check the clock,
Less
about
than 12
10 hours from now. So
Oh god,
everyone
that
rest
is...
up and look
fun.
forward to that for the early morning Saturday games.
Yep, 7 in the morning for me, so I'm gonna see how much caffeine actually affects me and see if I'm awake enough to do
Oh my
that.
god, escape.
Speaking of, I should
we
probably
have-
start heading to bed right now.
Yeah,
Oh my
everyone go to
gosh.
bed. We've got an early morning tomorrow. We have Dramus in the channel still, right? Somewhere? There you
Yeah.
are up top.
I'm here.
Yep. Dramus, can you tell us who is playing tomorrow and what to look forward to?
I believe it's...
That's a great question. I'll look that up real quick.
It's Sanjover
Sorry to put you on the spot.
versus...
It's
It's Sanjover
and
versus
Shock.
Freak Bob, right? Early tomorrow?
On Sunday.
No. It's 1:20 SPM and Hyunk, I believe.
Ah, yes it is. Freak Bob is on Sunday. Okay.
So, for folks watching on Twitch and those of you just in the general channel here, you can look forward to those games. Scape and I will try and be awake to cast them. Otherwise, you can see Dremis. I believe Snipes' coverage, and I think Darg as well. So, look forward to those games. And yeah, NEBVEMBER is a fantastic tournament, and we have more games coming.
Heck yeah.
I had a little bit of a... Oh, sorry.
Yep.
I
Go ahead,
just
Pyro.
wanna- I just want to say, like, whoever is playing battleships, like, you guys are really, really good at soft kill as well. Like, I'm impressed that you guys had like the whole setup, like killjoys, chaff and flares, interruption jammers, self-illume, like everything. Yeah, you guys are tight. Good job.
I believe
Alright.
that comp that Electron brought in that last when they were on Gold Rush is the same thing they brought the first time on Gold Rush. Double BB, one of them that has a couple beamstones, the carrier half cap, and then the full cap fleet. Works really
Yeah.
well.
How
There's
like
many
the
beamstones
two-
was that? That was crazy.
Yeah, it's
it
like the
was-
two.
It was
Okay.
4 from the cap fleet, 2 from the one of the
Yeah,
battleships.
it was 7. Yeah, there's 7 beamstones I counted. So it's like, 2 overwatching battleships with 4 TC spyglass and like all the 450 you could ever ask for, plus like a cap fleet with like 4 beam DDs, plus like some beam DDs with the battleships, plus carrier support. Yeah, that's a vicious team comp.
I want to say that one of the battleships was Parallax. I may be wrong on that.
Okay, gotcha.
One was.
It might
One
have-
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the,
Yeah.
I think it was the more greeted one. It lacked backpack to afford the 2 beam destroyers, which cost them like 480 to 500 or so, if memory serves. But yeah, definitely a good
Gotcha.
comp to play defensive with.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Anyways, I think Scape and I are probably going to wrap up the recordings here because we have to get some rest and then get those next games casted. But thank you, Everneon, for coming out. Has been a fantastic game series so far, and look forward to tomorrow's matches.
Yep. Once again, thanks
Jeez.
to Dramus for organizing this whole thing. This thing has been a blast to cast, and I'm assuming it's been a blast for the teams to play in. We've had some excellent games so far. Hoping to see some more excellent ones in the future as we start getting into the really close ones between the teams. I'm really looking forward to some of the ones on Sunday. Those look like some really fun ones.
You should rig the odds so that I always get to play ANS first, so I get to play
Well,
CLs more.
the thing is, I was doing bets on my my channel and all of them. I don't think it was an upset all 3 times, according to what my chat thought would win.
Escape. I should have betted. I should have betted on the first one.
No.
Should just pop
At
into
the,
your
at the
stream.
beginning, at the beginning, the first one, it was about, what was it, 30% thought that ANS would win that one, and then Collapse the Electron had a very dominant victory on Blood Moon, and then the second go, I think they saw, oh, Collapse the Electron, they played super good the first time, that means they're gonna do really good this time, and then the percentage is like completely reversed, and then of course Maintenance is a Birch with the excellent CL flanking play on the SLOs, won them the game then. And then it flipped again on the last one. It was so there was a lot of people who lost their points on those
And
balls.
there are a few people who have earned a lot of points, I hear.
Notes was
That's
not
exciting matches.
Notes was not happy when Electron lost the second one. I have a feeling a lot of that was due to the bet that they did.
Anyways, I think I'm gonna wrap up my recording here. Escape. Were you thinking of still going on, or?
Oh, most certainly not.
No, Steve, you should
I
keep streaming.
figured
Stream
so.
for another 10 hours.
Oh yeah. Hey, Star, you should go live then.
Yeah,
Why don't
Star,
you play
go
more
live.
matches, huh?
Yeah, Star, you're done.
nuh-uh,
You're done.
nuh-uh.
You're done. You've already done your games. You're gonna go live. Star, go live.
Yeah, Start streaming Neb for the next, I don't know, 10 hours or so. Give the people something to watch.
Stream an empty lobby for 10 hours.
Realistic Neb experience.
Oh my god,
So
yeah.
what do I have to pay
Jaramis.
in order for you to bury the last round, because that was such a throw for me. I'm so angry at myself.
Don't worry, there's more games for you to throw in
it's
future.
funny you say that because Tasty Cookie also offered me a bribe to delete their last game, where they gave their entire team non-functional torpedoes.
No way.
That was a worse sin. I am willing to get in a bidding war with Vren to keep this one up, because that was like the best frontline game I've had in a while. So.
Yeah, you did really good, Misk. And Vren, like, don't worry about it. It happens. We didn't know that they had 7 beamstones in places. Like,
Did not.
we just we just didn't know.
I thought we could we can multi, because I saw 4 feet lines on my back. I have Solomons in my front. I can't get out from that middle rock. I thought, let's go, because like there's no other time for me to move, or else I'm just gonna be split pushed by the Solomons.
You were
To an extent, in your
yeah.
position there, you didn't actually need to move, as you were the anchor point for the rotation from the liners.
So
That's the
basically,
problem, and so I should have
Vren-
just sat there.
Yeah, if you sat there, what would have happened is the battleships couldn't have pushed you. They would have to just take a front fight with the liners off to the side and all
Yeah,
that stuff,
I
and you would have been
The
able to deny
liners,
it.
the liners were doing an excellent job covering one of your flanks there. You only really had one to worry about.
That's what.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I was worried if they do a split forward push, and they were also already.
I mean, if they
really close to making two.
if they push both directions, right, you don't really have to worry too much about it because you collapse on the one with the liner and then you kill that one and then you swing over. And if
God
they
damn
decide to
it.
all push your weak side, you just start a rotation because the battleships are slower than the
You
liners.
see, that would
Yeah.
have been really clear.
I mean-
I felt like we were losing captain. I felt like I had to do something.
For the
Right.
cap war
But I'm thinking
situation
we'll do
there,
this.
what you want to do is provide your A-cap coverage with the 100 mil and such. You punish the hell out of any liner, or not liner, any beam destroyer that peeks out to try and punish one of your A-cappers stepping on. So that's your role for that.
A lot of this
Yeah,
is
if you want
a failed communication from the people
a
playing.
lot of
Captain
miscommunications I noticed,
Yeah,
like a lot
there's
of
a lot going on
miscoordination
in that
stuff.
match.
Yeah, because I was like thinking in my head, okay, we're trading caps at an acceptable rate and we're getting good territory control. I'm like feeling stable on caps, but I didn't say that because I was busy. And then
You were microing.
Yeah, like I was so tunneled.
I can think of at least like 3 instances during some of the games we played where people have been talking about something very important, but I've been so focused on my own ship. And then I'll be like, "Hey, there's a fucking battleship over there," and they're like, "Yeah, we're already killing it." I'm like, "Huh?"
What battleships? Huh?
Oh god, I
feel like my like internal cap sense is like literally just a big slider that like gets increasingly alarmed the faster I'm losing shuttles, which means that whenever I play like 2 liners and 8 shuttles, I'm always really stressed.
For those in the chat who are wondering how it feels to play cap fleets, that is true.
Yeah, like there's a reason why I like almost never play caps. Like A, I'm bad at multitasking, and B, it's like it's so difficult to like play caps well.
I think
I mean, a lot of
if you play a lot of caps, you do very rapidly become very relaxed about losing assets because it just like it happens. Sometimes it's good.
Maybe
sometimes
for
bad,
OSP
sometimes-
side, ANS, every time you lose one of those cappers, you're like,
You need
oh,
to-
I can't
Yeah,
afford
you need
this.
to-
That's
you need to
200
either
bucks.
establish
I'm not getting back.
better Zen, or you need to remove more things from the Corvettes until they cost less than gun shuttles, and then you're golden.
And then you can't. And then you can't win the gunfights, and you lose. Yay!
Don't win the gunfights anyway.
I don't need gunfight. I have beam destroyer for that.
Yay!
Yeah.
Also,
like yeah, There's like two ways to do like sprinters for ANS cap fleets. I've seen people just have like super cheap, basically just like cars, like sprinter with a VLS attached, and then they have like beam DDs and like CLs and whatnot to like actually do the like cap contesting. You just have like bricks to cap points.
Yeah.
And then there's also like the higher investment sprinters that are like torque sprinters with like Smiths 3Hs.
The painful
Also
thing about the
bricks.
high investment sprinters is just because it's just that every liner projects an 8-kilometer bubble of no sprinters, so you will just lose them to guns a lot.
We did see
Yeah.
in the Blood Moon game a tech choice of a pair of sprinters with size 3 hybrids underneath the map, and that was very cool for such an open
Those
map.
were
where you
fun.
can do
I
strikes.
haven't had a void fight with M&Ts versus missile sprinters in a while. That was fun to engage.
Also,
Yeah, all those matches were pretty fun.
Going back to a lot of the matches, now that you mentioned that, there was a very big lack of like dedicated backline fleets from both teams in all 3 games there. It was all massed frontline for the most part.
I will say a big part of that is because I don't think any of us have up-to-date backline fleets.
Okay, that's the
No, we do not.
explanation. I see.
I wanted to play Spamto on ANS, but
Okay,
I got put on caps because it was that or Potato was on caps, and I was better at it.
Well, I could do.
Yeah,
It
I'm
wins
just
us
not a
more
good
players.
I think that was the correct decision based on
Does it
knowing.
get us
We made the right
to-
decision there.
Does it
Anyway.
get us more points if we just say no, we wanted to be honorable and engage in cornate face tanking, or if we didn't have time to build the fleets?
Anyway,
Well,
Tech,
depends if honesty counts for anything.
Tech, I did yell out, "Hey, I'm gonna do this. Are we okay with that?" And then I got an A firm, and I'm like, "Okay, let's go."
Yeah. So, by the way, I had an idea for my fleet that I wanted to share. So I put a lighthouse on the little grazer shuttles with like my big like hero liner. Yeah, because I figured out that if I put point defense to dedicated, the lighthouse won't automatically fire, and then I can just like turn the radar off to shine the illuminator to spot for the saw backup S2s off the back of the Frankenstein liner.
Huh.
So,
Huh.
you're doing self-illume with a lighthouse on a grazer shuttle. That's
I mean, why not?
I mean, a lot of people have been
Okay, this
starting
is
to
why
put
I
lighthouses
always-
on the backs of their liners for self-illume. It works pretty well, and honestly, I should probably
Yeah,
do that,
could
shouldn't
work.
I?
I maintain that the only way I ever consistently beat Pyro is by out multitasking her with a million different shit because she pulls this tech wizardry.
Yeah, I tunnel vision for her. This is true.
Yeah. And I mean, like, a lot of the things that we noticed and did in post-match, that's like benefit of hindsight stuff, and also a lot of it is benefit of we're the spectators and we know where everything is at all times.
Indeed,
Yeah,
sensor coverage is
yeah,
a really
lack of
big
it.
A
difference.
lot of it's an imperfect information game, so like
Yeah.
a lot of things, like I'm looking at this, I'm like, Red, no, what are you doing? But
Yeah,
also at the same
honestly,
time, I know that like Red has no clue that there's 7 beamstones behind that rock.
Yeah, honestly, if I had put my radar skiff towards E instead of towards C, maybe that could have made the difference.
I mean, anything could have
Little things.
anything could have helped. Anything could have changed about that. Like
It's a game of sensor ambiguity, nebulous, if you would.
Hey, get
I
this
mean,
guy.
in terms of his overall like fleet placement, place, and all that, Misk, I think you need to play a little closer to the map, a little with the 450 liners.
Yeah,
But
they
then
were
it's also kind of hard because you had the battleship flying
the
long-range
beamstones
pressures.
Yeah,
as
I-
well
at-
were also a very, very big risk for those
Yeah.
liners.
At the late
But-
game, I realized that what I should have done is the moment I'd cleared the first beamstone duel on C, I should have just put both liners on flank and slammed them into the back line because then it could have.
Yeah,
not
you had a
put
full
caps.
clear drive there to get a really
That,
compromising
that
angle.
or
Yeah,
like
I
that, or
did it
just
later,
descend
way too late.
to cover or descend for a heavy hold on Charlie, where they
Yeah,
can't push
I-
you off as easily.
I had gone back and forth on that, but the BB was pushing center and people were like, shoot the BB, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to go over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways,
And then-
like I said about 10 minutes ago, I'm going to wrap up my recording here. Thank you, every noun, for participating. I need to get some sleep and
You
such,
really
so
need
I will
sleep,
catch you all
jeez.
when I do.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Thanks for the stream and like, yeah.
Thanks for casting.
For anyone who wants to view it right
Thanks for
now, you
playing.
can go check the Twitch VODs afterwards. We'll get the edited, cut up matches posted as soon as we can, so look forward to those. And yeah, for now, a good night, everyone.
Good night, Neko. Also,
Yeah.
Pyro, we were talking about how to defeat you earlier, and Tethys here in my chat says, "Oh, I just throw Saw S2s at her."
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Not a lot of my fleets are equipped for that.
I mean, in all fairness, not a lot of OSP fleets are equipped for SAW spam.
To be fair, not a lot of ANS players run SAW.
You know, but
that is also true.
See, what I can do now that I have lighthouses on the grazer shuttles, so I can take some chaff on the liner and then self-illume my chaff. I can do OSP self-illume now.
Yippee.
Here's another idea. If you have a fighter with illume pods or illume nose.
Oh yeah.
You could do that.
The last time I did it, I accidentally painted the battleship as well, which is awkward. Which is awkward.
You see, the real tech,
that's beside the point.
The real tech with self-illume is to just point your self-illume to the player on your team that you don't really like all that much.
Yeah, I'll shine my lighthouses on like the guy next to me, so he can be like, "What the fuck?"
Leave me alone, lady! Stop shining a flashlight in my face.
I don't like this player in particular. Die.
But yeah, friend, as for your positioning, like mid game, like sitting on that like rock was pretty good. Moving out of all that. I think early game you probably should have deployed lower, closer to the is it A cap? I think it's the A cap.
A cap is
the center cap.
Yes, A cap is center.
Yeah. If you deployed closer to the A cap, the 100 mils, the bombshell, the Hesh, everything would have torn apart the initial cappers a lot better.
They sent 2 cappers to A initially and had 1 in reserve. So I don't.
But like if you had if the.
I don't think there was really.
That makes sense. Without worried about front line. Yeah, that makes sense. But just it like like the ridge. If you deployed on a ridge, like kind of poked down, like descended into A just a little bit, and then went up into that rock, you could have cleared like anything but like an absurd amount of cappers sitting on that point, because monitors are, you know how monitors are with 100 mil and bombshell and all that. But I'm just like reviewing the game and thinking about what could have been done better. I probably would have ended up making the same mistakes though.
All right, Night Dramus, thank you for once again. Thank you for putting this all together. It's been a blast to cast. And with that, I will likely be ending my stream here too. Thank you all, the players that are still here from the teams, for playing. It has been an excellent tournament so far, and I very much love to see all of the fun little tech that everyone brings to the table. We had a really fun night of 3 really good matches, and tomorrow morning we will be probably awake. I don't know. We'll see about that. But yeah, I am going to leave it here.
Yeah, good night, everyone. Peace.
Okay.